Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. 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 Grind the tape.
The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach and the bench deep.
Right.
Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting.
Yep.
Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Wednesday evening. It's an absolutely slammed, loaded show, as per usual here on a Wednesday. Coaching names and candidates for open jobs worth talking about tonight. Some things going viral, some takes going viral. We've got some opinions on some opinions that are going to stumble us into opinions. Is that the best way to explain our opening segment tonight?
Probably, yeah.
That's a bit of a crazy way to explain it, but you'll get what I'm talking about here in a second. What If Wednesday here on a Wednesday, and of course on Wednesdays we have our final predictions here tonight as well. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate and review. And if you have not already subscribed to this channel, you should go ahead and do so. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button tonight, early on and often, firing off in that chat. Let's start with this quote unquote coaching news, if you will, boys. I don't know who this is. This Bet Online that keeps doing these coaching odds?
Most likely.
All right, so this went viral today as Nick Sabin has apparently been reported on Bet Online to be the quote-unquote odds-on favorite to take the LSU head coaching job. And I thought our friend of the show, Peter Burns, had a great tweet about this today. Betting odds are just talking points and nonsense to get, I would imagine, some action on some of this. Like,
Oh, definitely.
do you think this spurred up more Nick Saban bets on Bet Online this morning or something like that?
I mean,
what is the point of this, Mr. Gambler?
Yeah, it's definitely a ploy to, Nick Saban's betting favorite, gets people talking about it, then gets people taking odds on it. He actually had a really good thread on Twitter about basically just some other head coaching searches that took place in the past. Like in 2021, when LSU was looking for another head coach, Mel Tucker had the best odds at the time to take the job. Lane Kiffin had the third best. Luke Fickell, James Franklin, Jimbo Fisher. Like Brian Kelly is barely on this list at all. He's had other examples. Arkansas in 2019 was Mike Norvell, Eli Drinkowitz, Lane Kiffin. FSU in 2019 was Matt Campbell, Mark Stoops. So it just goes to show there's another 3 or 4 examples of this. Just because you're the odds-on favorite does not mean you're likely, or does not mean that there's some undergoings that say that, oh, this is what's going to happen.
Look, I think it's a fun topic to discuss. It's a fun idea to run by. Hell, I even tweeted out like they should make him say no. They definitely should make him say no. But ultimately, like, this is a no-no for Nick Saban. Even if you want to do this, I think this would be a bad idea. Even if Miss Terry were on board, even if they gave you $20 million a year, I think it's a bad idea for a multitude of reasons. First and foremost, they would be Alabama fans petitioning to have your name removed from that field
100%.
out there in Tuscaloosa. So that's first and foremost. Secondly, LSU fans have nothing but remembrance of great things of Nick Saban times. They don't remember you leaving that place, first and foremost. They also don't really talk about, well, because it hasn't happened yet. If you go out there and this doesn't go well, like we ruin a little bit of our legacy that people already have the takes about Nick Saban of, oh, you ran out of the business because you don't like the way the business was being ran. That's why you tuck-tailed and got out of here. You've already got takes like that going around. I think this is a tremendous opportunity to say no, thanks, but no thanks. Now, there's obviously been Nick Saban's comments about this being the only regret. Leaving this place is the only regret he's ever had in his college coaching career. That's tough. Sometimes we got to live with some regrets in our coaching decisions.
Oh no,
in our
I had to win
professional careers.
I had to win 6 national titles to get rid of that regret. Damn.
And I think that's like him saying that. Not that it isn't actually regret making that decision, but I think that's also, again, like appeasing to a fan base that remembers you greatly and has a lot of good things to say about you for the time that you spent there. But I think you're hitting it right on the head in regards to, like, you would tarnish some of your legacy if you decide to do this. Like, not only do you tarnish maybe some of the Alabama fans that greatly love you if you take that job back, but you also open the door for you to not be remembered so greatly at the end of your career. Kind of like what we talked about with Bill Belichick.
All right, if I gave you 4. If I gave you 4 things that were like, oh, yeah, no, he's retired, in that video of him getting yelled at by Miss Terry. The birthday cake with 73 candles on it is number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2. Being in a recliner, watching Monday Night Football. Number 3, the blanket being tucked underneath his legs, like real tightly tucked in a blankie on the recliner. Or number 4, Miss Terry yelling at him to, quote, sit up. Which one of those is very obviously you are retired and this is no longer for you?
I think we can eliminate number 4 because Miss Terry.
We've all been yelled at by our
has,
wives.
Has probably taken up most of his life.
Well,
so.
I've definitely been yelled at by my wife. I don't want to speak for you guys' households.
I think it's definitely the fact that he is sitting there with a blanket in a recliner watching football, clearly enjoying solitude. Like, I'm sitting in my living room by myself and I'm watching Monday Night Football, something he probably never really got to do as a head coach of a college football program. Like, I'm not having to talk to recruits. I'm not having to watch film right now. I'm just enjoying Monday Night Football, and then his solitude gets interrupted.
Look, I just want to say, it's not the fact that he has a blanket on the recliner that makes him look older and retired. It's the fact that his feet were propped up. The way he was sitting looked exactly like your grandfather sits in a recliner. That's all I'm saying. We all use blankets when it's cold. We all like watching ball. We all do those things. The exact positioning with which he was in reeked of grandfather.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I would agree.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
that was more of, oh, it's done, than looking like a wet rat walking into the stadium at Tampa against USF.
Ooh, I don't know, dude. That was when I was like,
that was the original, like, oh, well, we're
that
done.
was the first one. I was like, this guy's tired. This man's done.
And that was at 71, Kurt.
Yeah. and it would have been one thing if, he's standing in front of the TV, hands on hips or hands on his knees like a coach. Like,
for sure.
He is relaxed in a recliner. I do not think that man is coming back.
Absolutely kicked up.
I think he's enjoying his cushy college game day job, and he's done.
All right, now that we've had our jokes and had our fun, we got our laughs. Let's have the actual real analysis about this actual topic. That LSU job, by the day, looks worse and worse and more chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
Right? With the administration going on right there, with all these coaches taking extensions. I mean, Jeff Brom nearing an extension. I mean, Matt Rule wasn't ever going to be up for that job, but extension. Brent Key working on an extension. Signetti already extended out there in Indiana. Drinks working on an extension up there at Missouri. We're getting to a point now with some of these opening jobs where it's like, seems like Franklin's going to Arkansas. John Summerall kind of being picked and talked about as maybe in the discussion for the Auburn job, quote unquote favorite for the Auburn job. What's left for LSU to do? You see what I'm saying? Like, we're getting to a point now in this hiring cycle where we got jobs like Penn State, Florida, and LSU open up, and Auburn. It's like, who are y'all hiring right now? That's a big concern.
And I mean, I think all 3 of those teams would answer, well, if Lane Kiffin becomes available, but if Lane Kiffin doesn't leave, you're getting none of them, and there's only going to be one Lane Kiffin to go around. So, no, but you're absolutely right. The appeal of this LSU job has gone downhill significantly. And with all the other extracurricular stuff where the government's getting involved, and you've got the government standing on a podium and being like, we're getting a new coach, this is ridiculous, and we're not overpaying, we're not going to give them a lot of money. All of these things, like LSU, when it came open, that is the number one job going on right now. No ifs, ands, or buts. And it's still a great job, don't get me wrong. But with all of the dramatics going around it right now, I think that it's lost a little bit of its shine. And you're seeing that in the market. Like, there hasn't been a name that comes forward and is like, oh, that's a shoe-in for it.
Well, I think an issue with the LSU job right now, at least from an outside, like my perspective, is that it's hard to believe like what is truly happening over there. Not because it's crazy, but just because like I don't know if you can believe like what they're saying, what they're like, because I mean the prime example of this is the governor saying that they're gonna hire a coach before the AD, but then they go ahead and hire an AD. And then Brian Kelly is trying to fight, making sure that he gets his buyout money, but LSU's trying to make sure that they don't have to pay this buyout money and all this stuff. So they have their own stuff to worry about before they even worry about getting a coach.
Have you heard what they're trying to do with the For Cause lawsuit? They're trying to basically say that since they told him he needed to fire one of his coordinators and he refused, that is for cause because you can't say no to an administrator. But they went ahead and fired him for just firing him.
Yeah.
And it very clear, you know what it sounds like to me? Because there was that rumor floating around that one booster was in the press box floating around, I'll pay it. I think, hear me out. I wouldn't put this past LSU at this point. If I told you that a booster got slap hammered drunk in the second half of that A&M game and was stumbling around that box going, you know what? To hell with this Yankee. I'm done with him. I'll pay the $57 million. And then gets a phone call Sunday like, hey, you're still good for the $57 million, right? And then he calls his accountant, and his accountant's like, hell no. That's what this seems like. Am I crazy?
I mean, two things on that. One, a rich person's drunk thoughts a whole lot different than my drunk thoughts. Two, could you imagine being blasted out of your mind and watching Blake Baker's defense? That has to be an out-of-body experience. Holy crap, we got 24 guys on the field right now, guys. What is going on? We don't have any defensive linemen. They're all secondary players.
Are we playing rugby?
Oh my gosh! So yeah, maybe that does lead to, this guy's got to go. This isn't even football. What are we watching?
Yeah, no, I think the immediate one was it was a knee-jerk reaction by LSU, and understandably so. You had a third loss. You were eliminated from the playoffs in embarrassing fashion. That team very obviously quit on their coach. He had to go. But I think that they made all of those decisions before they said, okay, now let's worry about the finances of it. And now that the finances of it are in their face, it's like, oh, crap.
It's so obviously a rash decision or at least a rash decision that they made, which I think is the right decision. Brian Kelly doesn't need to have that job. It needs to come open. So I don't want to say that. I think it was more of the way they handled it was rash. Here's a breaking news for you. If you want to get any football coach for cause, I'll bet there's a way to do it. Now, some of these guys might be cheating the rules a whole hell of a lot dirtier than most, but all of them are breaking the time rule. All of them are breaking recruiting call rules. All of them are tampering. They're all doing stuff that you can probably get them for that's maybe not as salacious as some of the stuff that maybe, an SEC coach that Ole Miss was doing with his cell phones with regards to maybe some services. So there's always a cause that you can get these guys for. They just chose to do it after the fact. And that's not how the law works. That's not how for cause contracts work with regards to $57 million.
Oh.
I think what ultimately happens here, they settle for like 45. They just keep it pushing.
I mean, it's the old clip from The Office of we don't have cause, Michael. Oh, we have cause. It's because I hate him. Like that's LSU right now. We have cause. We hate this guy. That's why we don't want to have to give him this buyout money. We don't like him.
All right, I'm good on that. I do want to say this though. Who are the coaches left for teams to hire? Are we just are we guaranteed Alex Golish is getting one of these jobs at this point?
I don't think at this
Some
point.
Some are all signed away to somewhere at this point.
At this point, with all the saturation that we've had in this market, don't sleep on John Gruden getting one of these jobs. It might not be one of the high profile, and I know you're going to do it, but one of these schools is going to get desperate and go, this guy won a Super Bowl. He really loves football. We've seen he knows his stuff. He's a great OC. Speaking of sleeping, don't sleep on our friends over at Sleeper. Head over today. Use promo code Brooks10 to get a $100 deposit match. If you're wondering what Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that is
the
focused.
number one fantasy and real sports gaming app.
Fastest growing in the world with over 6 million active users. That number only goes up by the day. It's operational in over 25 United States, including this state of Georgia. Head over to Sleeper today. Use promo code Brooks10 to get that deposit.
We
match.
love our friends at Sleeper, and we love when our friends in the chat support our friends that are Sleeper. Promo code Brooks, 100% deposit match, up to $100 over there with our friends. Guys, it's Wednesday.
Before you do that,
what?
quick update. I've never seen this
update.
before. We got the injury report released.
Ooh.
Texas, nothing to report.
Nothing to report.
Never seen that before.
A
Not
home healthy
a
football team.
player listed on the out. Not a player listed as probable. Nothing.
Thank
Good
you
for
for the
them.
update.
Good to see the bye week serve them well.
Did we already survive that? You guys doing that news in the middle of the show?
Yeah,
Wow. I didn't even notice.
kind of good at our jobs.
That was crazy. You guys are really good at your jobs. Like, honest to God, I'm not trolling here. Who was typing? This guy?
Me.
Wow. And running cameras?
Oh yeah.
Man, it's a pretty well-oiled operation.
Doing
we
a
got going
lost
on
and
here.
lucky report right now too.
We're due for a camera to go down at some point, or
Don't
an
say
audio
that.
problem.
Don't say that.
Chill, dude. What are you doing?
It's held strong throughout this season. All right.
It has, except for on film studies, every once in a while. And camera 3 is doing something weird with the coloring right about now. But hey, it is what it is. All right, it's Wednesday. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We've already produced way too much content at this point in the day, so people probably didn't get their notifications about this. So if you got a homie that you know is locked into the Film Guy Network, make sure you call him if you don't see him in the chat right now. Check on your friends because they should be over here right now hanging out. Talking some ball. Let's do it right now. It's Wednesday. It's What If Wednesday. I got a great one for you here. Not really a what if, more of a, hey, just to let you know, 5 of the top 8 teams in college football this weekend are massive home favorites. I mean, absolute snooze fest. The problem here, though, for these 4 or 5 football teams is that it's college football. Somebody's going to get snuck this week. Let's talk about it. Ohio State, a 32.5-point favorite at home against UCLA. Indiana, a 29.5-point favorite against Wisconsin at home. Oregon, a 25.5-point favorite on Friday night against Minnesota. Texas Tech, a 23.5-point favorite at home against UCF. A&M, the lonely 19.5-point favorite at home against South Carolina. I'm not predicting a win or a loss for one of those football teams, but somebody going to get a random sweater in the middle of November in a game that they didn't think they were going to get one in.
And not to do the thing, but this was a big reason why SEC fans laughed in Big Ten fans' faces for the talk about, oh, well, you guys just get these cupcake games in November while we play a conference schedule. Well, that's what your conference schedule looks like in the middle of November.
There is a South Carolina matchup in there against the number 1 team in the conference.
There is one, but you also listed 3 Big Ten teams.
Yeah, I did.
But that's just the nature of college football right now. I understand it. So
it's the nature of every conference other than the SEC currently, but that's only because of rankings bias.
Indeed.
Coaches rankings bias, AP rankings bias, college football playoff rankings bias, FPI rankings bias. They're all biased. The whole machine is predicated to work against everybody but the SEC. You have to remember that.
You're right. Never mind. Ignore me for the
shit analysis. You SEC homer.
But, I mean, this happened last year. This is what happens in college football, especially when you get in the late months of the season. I mean, it was around this time last year where Alabama all of a sudden takes a loss to Oklahoma. I mean, all hell broke loose this time last year and completely shook up the SEC championship game and the college football playoff picture. So it seems like one of these next 3 weekends, something is bound to happen.
Well, sneak week? Mm-hmm. Oh, we love a sneak week.
Always.
You got a what if for me, Curb?
Yeah, I do have a what if for you. What if Friday night games aren't just a death trap for ranked ACC teams?
Ooh, I ain't seen a Big Ten one get sneaky lately.
Well,
Because
Minnesota
Oregon
did this earlier in the
Against Nebraska.
year. Just saying.
Does that really count?
Just saying. It was
I'm
a
just
Friday
saying,
night game.
Oregon coming off of a really had to really dig deep type of victory against Iowa, short turnaround, playing Minnesota. Now they get to play them at home, so that's a little bit better. But
Well, no, it's not, Kirby, because they had to travel all the way out to Iowa last week, and then they had to take another flight back to Oregon. It's a lot of travel.
It's hard to do.
yeah, but it'd be even
It's
more
really hard.
travel if it wasn't at home.
But I had this as one of my what ifs too, but I phrased it as, what if we get another Friday night victim or victims? Like, what if Oregon and Louisville both go down this weekend? I mean, Louisville, not a massive favorite over Clemson, a struggling program up to this point. Oregon, you had a really tough game last week against Iowa, went down to the wire. Now you got to get back up, quick turnaround on a Friday night game. It is at your home stadium, but seen crazier things happen. I don't think Minnesota's ultimately the one that gets the Ducks, but worth throwing out there. What if Miami loses again this week to NC State? And I know, shrug your shoulders, like whatever, or like we've kind of thrown Miami out of the picture at this point. Not exactly talking about that, but I more so want to talk about the fact of this will be 2 years in a row where we're sitting in the preseason, we look at Miami. They seem like a team that could certainly go through the ACC, make a playoff. They made moves in the offseason that would indicate they thought that about their roster. The fact that you're signing Cam Ward as a transfer portal quarterback, the thought that you thought it was a good idea to throw $4.5 million and some more on top of it to Carson Beck this offseason in hopes of getting to a playoff.
Who cares? Just do it again next year.
I mean, you could, but how many times can you say that?
I'm with you. I don't think – I never really trusted what Mario did at Oregon to make me think that it was going to suddenly be great at Miami.
And I don't
know
disagree
it's
with
his
that.
home program. I know that's where he's from. I know there's ties to Miami, but like we have to. I feel as if nowadays, like, yeah, we have a lot of success stories at their places of like alumni. Right, we have a lot of alumni coaches having success, but the ones that are doing it at those big programs are still recruiting nationally. Like you're the Miami football coach, you still have to recruit nationally, so your local ties only matter so much, and always been a terrible game manager. Always been a terrible game manager. So, like the famous Georgia Tech play against Miami, he did the same shit at Oregon and did not learn his lesson. So, I never really – I'm with you in the sense that he's not on a hot seat. There's nobody talking about potentially firing him because of just how crazy the cycle is. But I'm not so sure that he is the forever football coach of the Miami Hurricanes.
No, I agree with that. And, like, especially this year. Like, last year you had
anybody doing less with more? Sorry to cut you off. Anybody doing less with more?
James Franklin did this year.
James Franklin did this year, and he got fired for it.
Hugh Freeze did this year.
Hugh Freeze got fired for it.
So, I mean, it's certainly not great for him. Now, that said, you get a guy like Lenore Sellers next season.
But at this point, it's like, who cares? Go get Lenore Sellers, Miami.
They had the number one overall draft pick and found ways to lose football games.
Yeah, so
I agree.
I think it kind of changes how you talk about Miami in the offseason. Like this year, it was, hey, well, you got to go out there and prove it with the wide receivers that you have this year. You got to go. Carson Beck has to go out there and prove it. Like we did that thing. I think next year, if you miss the playoffs again this year, the offseason talk around Miami is, well, who cares what you do in the offseason because it hasn't mattered in previous years.
Yeah, well, I think the pushback on that would be they did somewhat kind of go prove it because really no one gave them a chance against Notre Dame, and they came out and won that game. It was like, oh, you know what? This Carson Beck thing might work out for Miami. They actually have good receivers, and, you know.
What if Florida's essentially third-string ragtag bunch goes out there to Oxford, Mississippi, and just gives them a fourth-quarter fist fight? Does that make this decision that Lane Kiffin's got coming up at the end of the season any more difficult, or does this game weigh nothing with regards to his decision-making? And here's why I think it might. If the literal depth of their roster has a chance to go bar for with you in the middle of November in a losing season in which they've already dumped the entire staff, doesn't that kind of prove what we've kind of laid out in the sense that it is a much easier jumping point down there in Gainesville to win a national title than Ole Miss is? Because what they're getting beat by, if they get beat or if it's tight, what they are competing against this weekend is the core recruiting depth that is the Florida University job.
Right.
University of Florida job. See what I'm saying, Curb?
Yeah,
You're skeptical, but you see what I'm getting at.
No, I get what you're...
Like, if they get bodied up by the freshman, sophomore, junior recruiting core of Florida, that proves, at least to me, it goes one step further proving to me that the baseline at Florida far higher than what it is at Ole Miss.
I think I get what you're saying, and I agree with that take. I think it would be such a loser mentality of Lane Kiffin to come out and get a sweater against a Florida team and be like, well, this happened because their players are so much, because that's clearly a better team. I need to go over to that program and join that. If you've come out of a close game with Florida of anything other than, man, we did not play it good today, I did not do a good job preparing my team today, so on and so forth, I wouldn't want you as a head coach because be able that you're just making excuses at that point. Well, Florida's a better roster. Florida's a better program. Of course this game was close for us.
Here's maybe a better question on that. Do you think that crosses Florida players' minds heading into this game?
What do you mean?
Like it's an audition?
No, like an audition of this guy might be our next head coach. Like why? Like, do you think that crosses their mind heading in this one of like we could go prove something to him and show him why this is a better place to be?
I mean, I think every player at Florida, every player at LSU, they're all in free agency bag years right now.
But I'm talking about guys of like, this guy might be my coach at Florida next year. Like if.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you have those conversations.
I don't know either. I don't know if that crosses your mind as a player heading into this one.
Are teammates even boys anymore?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like at a program like that at Florida right now, are they all like kicking it? I know right before they fired Billy, they all took DJ out to dinner. So there was that. You know, Two's got that look in his eye. You know? Shout out to Billy Napier.
Classic.
Billy Napier going to be on the show notes in the local hour. How about
Sure
that?
is.
He is.
And we just can't kill that guy. You know? He is Vin Diesel. We have always talked about that with him. He's still living out here on SEC staffs, it appears. I got one more that I want to say for last.
Okay. What if USC wins out and makes a playoff? I don't think that we had those expectations for them this offseason.
What NFL job's coming open?
Well, the Giants is open.
Lincoln Riley to the Giants.
I mean,
Lincoln Riley and Jackson Dart reunite in New York.
as long as there's
Weren't
a
they together, or was Clay Helton out there? That was Clay Helton.
Yeah, I don't think there was
USC.
a crossover.
Clay
there.
Helton recruited.
That was Clay
recruited him.
Helton.
Damn, I would have been stumbling into a take.
Well, yeah, I thought you did for a second too.
I'm sure he recruited him, though. I'm sure he's got
He was at Oklahoma. He wasn't recruiting Utah quarterbacks at Oklahoma.
But I just say that because this year we saw USC kind of take a different identity. Like for once, they have a defense that is respectable while also having an offense that is pretty balanced, actually. Actually, not even pretty balanced. It is a balanced offense that they have out there in regards to running the ball and passing the ball. On top of that, USC is about to bring in one of the best classes in the country this next year. Like if they make a playoff this year, you might be seeing a USC program kind of get rejuvenated, gain back a whole lot of momentum under Lincoln Riley.
That'd be great for them.
Now, look, we've earned a lot of fans and a lot of listeners in this specific fan base that I'm about to talk to. Just know that I'm doing What If Wednesday, and this is nothing personal. But are we getting ahead of ourselves with automatically locking Notre Dame into the playoff at 10-2, even if they handle business? But let's call it a sweater this weekend against Pittsburgh. Let's say they barely beat them. All right? They finished the year at 10-2. Boys, do y'all know how many possibilities we have at 10-2 for competition for a Notre Dame team that doesn't have an automatic way into the conference other than be inside the top 10, really? Because we're automatic gifting 11 and 12 away right now at this point in the conference or in the college football playoff. And here's why I'm putting this out here. There's going to be a lot of 10-2 teams at the end of the year. Let's go through some hypotheticals, all very, very likely. Let's say Georgia loses to Texas this weekend and Texas goes on to win out.
Okay.
Now Texas is 10-2, Georgia's 10-2. All right, let's say Georgia Tech loses to Georgia but wins out, including the ACC championship game. They're automatically in, right? They're a two-loss football team. Let's say Oklahoma goes on to beat Alabama this weekend, and both teams win out after that. Now we've got a 10-2 Oklahoma, and now we've got a 10-2 Alabama. Hey, well, that's not even getting into the discussion of, hey, what happens if USC beats Oregon? And now all of a sudden we got a 10-2 USC and a 10-2 Oregon. Are we way ahead of ourselves with this? Oh, Notre Dame's fine. Just go ahead and keep winning. You're all right. I think we are. I think we're way too far. Oh, by the way, I didn't even talk about Miami wins out. They're 10-2 with a head-to-head win against this Notre Dame football team. Now, they're ranked 18 right now, but you see what I'm saying. There's going to be a pool of football teams at 10-2 at the end of the year. A lot of them might have common opponents against this Notre Dame football team.
It's definitely worth discussing. I think the fact that Notre Dame is ranked 9th right now,
Correct.
it would be astonishing to me for them to fall, because you'd have to fall realistically 2 spots if you keep winning games. This is the Florida situation of 2023 to
But
where
when we have this, it's not about them falling. They're not. People are leapfrogging them because they have opportunities for big wins.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Oklahoma is behind them by 1 spot.
Yeah.
They go beat Alabama, they're going to leapfrog them.
Well, I mean, if Oklahoma does that, they'll jump them, yes. I just can't really see a world where Notre Dame loses its first 2 games, goes on a 10-game winning streak, and is jumped in the college football playoff. And I agree with you. I don't think Notre Dame necessarily deserves it.
I just can see a world where there are, 5 automatic bids. So we're fighting for 7 spots, and we got 9, 10-2 football teams.
Yeah. I mean,
There's a realistic chance there. And I'm just looking at it and saying, like, there's not a guarantee that we can automatically say Notre Dame is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. I mean, that's a nightmare situation if you're Notre Dame. A complete nightmare situation because –
And it really happened by 3 points.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the margins? They could beat by 1 point against Notre Dame or Texas A&M and 1 point against Miami.
No, they lost by 3 against Miami.
So 4 points total.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a nightmare scenario, and it's one of those things where if this would be the disadvantage of not playing in a conference and not having a conference schedule. But, like –
you could go even further with that and say USC wins out, Oregon loses to USC. 10
That's what
teams.
I did. I put that in there.
Oh, okay.
That's a very it's not likely. It's a very possible situation.
Oh, yeah. Again, that's nightmare situation if you're Notre Dame. I agree with you that, yeah, we probably did jump the gun and just saying, Notre Dame, you're fine. Just beat Pitt. You'll be all right.
Let's get into our final predictions, boys. We got a lot of big-time football games this weekend. Let's start out there in L.A. with one of these Big Ten teams we're talking about in the form of the USC Trojans. Still control their own destiny. They got a game this weekend against Iowa. Still have Oregon left on the slate for these guys. Keys to the matchup for me, starting with Iowa. I feel like my analysis on Iowa games is the most ridiculously chalk thing that I ever do. It's the same thing every single time. You got to limit explosives, and you got to find a way to just magically have one of your own. And obviously be good on special teams and all that good stuff. But I thought the reason they had a chance to have their hearts ripped out last week is because they finally had an explosive. Mm-hmm. They finally had a tight end down the middle of the field, 40-yard banger. Like, that's it for them. For USC, man, I think the last 2 years of USC football have been sculpted and molded for this moment, this type of football game. They have almost dedicated, almost like to an extreme, to become physical at the lines of scrimmage, to be a good run defense, and to be able to run the football again like all Lincoln Riley offenses do in their prime. They've molded themselves for this football game, specifically in this conference. I think it's going to bode well for them in it.
Yeah, I have the key to the matchup. It's kind of adjacent to yours, but Iowa, I don't know if necessarily has to have explosives of their own. It certainly would help. I think limiting USC is their best avenue to doing it, and I think doing so is by keeping your offense on the field. It's not great, but they have the 48th ranked rushing offense in the nation right now. That is That is what I would say is your avenue to it. Have these long, drawn-out drives where you're just gashing them, have 10, 12-play drives. Keep USC's offense off the field. USC is the 60th rushing defense in the country, so there is a world where I think if Iowa rushes for 200, 250 yards here, that Lincoln Riley offense is not on the field as much, and it creates one of these slugfests like you always get.
I kind of dwindled it down to specifically limiting Mekhi Lemon's explosive ability in this game.
I think
if you're
that's
Iowa.
singular. That's one sour fruit.
Well,
is that
like
multiple? Is it plural? Oh,
his
plural. Or possessive. My bad.
Possessive.
There was a possessive S in there.
Yes.
I thought you were pluralizing lemon.
No,
That's
I
on
was
me.
not. I was possessing
Possessive.
the explosives to him. So, yeah, I think that's the big key for you is because that is their explosive playmaker in the passing game. I think what kind of shocked me, though, as far as like the Oregon-Iowa game looking back on is that Oregon rushed for over 200 yards against this Iowa defense, something that I really wouldn't have expected going into that matchup. And USC is a very balanced team, as I mentioned earlier. I mean, they're running the ball more times than they are throwing it in most scenarios. So I think USC might have to kind of step outside of their comfort zone a bit in this one. Not to the tune of just like completely abandon the passing game, but you might have to really rely on the rushing attack more so than you have in other weeks.
That would be interesting. My X factor I think the rushing game is going to be a big factor on both sides here. If Iowa can do it, offense stays on the field longer. If USC can do it, Iowa's going to have trouble limiting explosives simply because they'll have to dedicate bodies to the run. I have the X factor as Kamari Moulton, Iowa running back, simply because I think if they're able to sustain drives, it's going to be because of what he does. He's their leading rusher on the season.
Did y'all know there was an early enrollee playing great football as a true freshman out there at USC?
Who is it?
Jakeem Stewart, five-star defensive lineman. He was going to be the number one player in America in 2026. I would imagine. Reclassed to 2025, finished in like the top 50 still. Has been playing since day one out there, playing good ball. He's my X factor in this one. If y'all going to line up, play great ball, got to have good defensive line play against Iowa.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Wayman Jordan, the running back for USC. This is a guy that hasn't played every single game this year. He's played 6 games up to this point, been highly productive for them, though, in that. The other running back who has played 9 games for them this year has slightly more yards for them, but hasn't taken Jordan a whole lot of time to get back up to that standard and kind of meet with him as far as numbers go. So, as I mentioned the stat earlier, if Oregon rushed for over 200 yards, walked out with a win, I think it could be a big day for him.
You already hit your X factor? Unless it doesn't happen, I got a great one for you. You ready?
Let's
You
hear
locked
it.
in?
Yeah.
USC out Iowa's Iowa.
Oh.
USC outrushes Iowa by 100 yards in this football game. You heard it here first.
Interesting. Let me
Great run defense, great run offense. USC Trojans roll. Good protection.
Let me preface mine with it has happened just once this entire season. It happened against Nebraska because USC's offense has been very explosive. They've been very good at scoring points. That's kind of what a Lincoln Riley offense is. But on Saturday, I think the USC Trojans get held to less than 30 points against the Iowa Hawkeyes. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
You got to listen. Put the telephone down for a minute.
Uh-oh.
You need to listen to this one, all right?
I got to lock in?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Iowa's punter has more attempts on the day than Gronowski has completions. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
So you think the punter goes 1 for 2?
No. I'm saying the punter is going to have more punt attempts on the day
than passing
than
completions.
Gronowski has pass completions.
I thought you were going full-blown Iowa. They
Oh,
will
no.
run 2
A trick
fake
play.
punts. They will run 2 fake punts, and the punter will have 2 attempts.
No.
And go 1 for 2, and Gronkowski will have 2 completions.
I'm saying
for 7.
they
or for
punt
7
the
attempts.
ball more than Gronowski completes the ball on Saturday. That's what I'm saying.
How many times do you think that's happened in Iowa football over the last 15 years?
I don't know. I hope 0.
I do not
That
wanna-
would be an astounding stat.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not deep diving those numbers.
I still will never forget the highlight that popped up the other day where it's Iowa versus Penn State in like the early aughts. And there's like 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's 9-6, and Iowa takes a self-safety. A self-safety to ensure that they don't give up a touchdown because they fumble in their own end. And there's 7 minutes left in the game. And they won, Jonathan. They won.
I've never
9-8.
Iowa football, baby.
Iowa football.
I've never understood the self-safety.
Well, it makes
you
sense
know,
in some situations.
Yeah, if you know that the only way that they are going to score is if we give them the ball in the end zone ourselves.
Yeah.
That's when you take a safety.
Yeah, I guess so. I've always been oh no, we can't let them score touchdowns, so let's give them 2 points and give them the ball now.
Yeah.
It seems like you're giving an opportunity for a 9-point swing when
You haven't seen Iowa play defense.
we're getting in the weeds of it. But
Score prediction. I think if this game was in Iowa at Kinnick Stadium, I would pick USC by a field goal. I think I'm going to pick USC by more than 10 points here. Give me 31-17. Trojans roll. I think they're built to win this football game at home right now.
I went USC 27, Iowa 14.
I went USC 27, Iowa 23. I think that they'll score a couple of points. I think this offense has been more explosive than Iowa offenses of the past, but I don't think it's anything to write home about.
All right, boys. College game day going to be in town at Pittsburgh. Noon kickoff between the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and the Pittsburgh Thurs. Key to the matchup for me, Pittsburgh. Do you actually care? All jokes aside, I know the coach made some weird comments, but seriously, if it's going to be whether or not you can actually run the football against this Notre Dame team and keep their defense on the field. Don't know if you know this, boys, but over the last 5 football games against Power 4 football teams, Pittsburgh has averaged 130 yards on the ground. They can run the ball.
Not bad.
So if they can do this in this football game, perhaps you protect your defense that's probably going to need protecting against this Notre Dame offense. Notre Dame, for that reason, your key to the matchup is, can you get off the field? Can you make sure that they don't tilt the time of possession? You would imagine they're going to try to shrink this game, right? You would imagine Pittsburgh's going to try to limit possessions. I know they've been scoring a lot of points, but they're a little bit outmatched here. They got a solid run game. The other team does as well. We don't want to be having our defense out on the field quite often, so that would be my major key there for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I have it kind of similar as well. The key is how much resistance can this Pitt defense put up? Notre Dame ranks 26th in passing efficiency on offense and 26th in rushing efficiency on offense. They are one of the better offenses and one of the more well-rounded offenses in the country. So how much can Pitt stop them from scoring points? Because we know it's going to happen at this point. CJ Carr's been playing really solid. Jeremiah Love might be in New York by the end of the year. So that's kind of what I think that needs to happen. Just provide some form of resistance.
It's not about taking away the run for Notre Dame or even shutting down the passing game for Notre Dame if you're Pittsburgh in this one. It's about getting these receivers on the ground and keeping everything in front of you. If you go look at CJ Carr's stat line as a passer this year, it's like 19 completions for 353 yards at times. Oh. These guys are chunking it. They are getting explosives. I mean, they are smacking you in the face when CJ Carr is completing the ball right now. So,
downfield Denbrock.
Yeah. So at this point, it's all about you got to keep that down. Like Jeremiah Love is going to do his thing. Jadarian Price is going to do his thing. When CJ Carr is dropping back, we got to make sure that those things aren't going for 30 yards, for 50 yards. Those are the keys in this matchup if you're Pittsburgh.
X Factor's Jeremiah Love in any Notre Dame type football game.
That's fair. I have defensive lineman Jimmy Scott, excuse me.
Is this a Pittsburgh football player?
Pitt defensive lineman Jimmy Scott.
Is this my freaky D tackle Pitt always has?
I think so. He's leading their team in sacks right now. He's got a handful of tackles for loss.
Is he wear a single digit?
I did not check that. But
what's his name?
Jimmy Scott. If he's going to make a difference in this game, I think that that's where you have the avenue to maybe create some havoc plays, maybe provide CJ Carr to move off the pocket, maybe make some mistakes. I think it's going to start within the offensive line if Pitt's able to make a difference defensively, and I'm going to bank on him being the guy to make that difference.
I'm glad Chat brought this up because it's my X factor. Desmond Reed is going to play in this game for Pittsburgh. Desmond Reed, a little bit of a Swiss Army knife for Pittsburgh's offense this season. He's got over 200 rushing yards, 200 receiving yards as well. I think he could be one of those special playmakers that you need to rely on in one of these matchups.
It's like a hybrid back.
Yeah.
Jimmy Scott wears 44. He is 6'3", 260 pounds. I bet he'd be getting after it over the guard. You know? That's that classic. I profiled Pitt so damn well without even ever watching one of them games against one winning record football team this season. I'm going to keep hammering that one. Let everybody know a 7-2, 22nd ranked overall Pittsburgh in the middle of November has played one Power 4 football team with a winning record, and they lost at home to that Louisville Cardinal football team. Score prediction. Oh, no, unless it does happen. Jadarian Price game. First 100-yard game of the season. You heard it here first, Jadarian Price. Big 2-4.
I'm going to take this opportunity to completely map out how this game is going to go.
Oh, wow.
To a T. I'm going to tell you exactly how it happens. At halftime, you are going to receive the infamous notification from ESPN that says, Alert! Notre Dame trailing Pittsburgh at halftime, 14-10. Which is going to make everybody go to their TV and turn the channel on to Notre Dame versus Pittsburgh because everybody wants to watch the possibility of Notre Dame getting upset this late in the season, getting knocked out of the playoffs. Until Notre Dame goes on to outscore Pittsburgh 27-6 in the second half. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
You just explained their game last week against Navy. Also, if you're wondering where you can find this football game, it'll be streamed on the Cock. What do you got for me?
Of course.
I kind of feel similar to Jay. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be they're trailing at half, but I have Notre Dame winning this game by 20-plus points. I know that's not a crazy prediction considering they're 11.5-point favorite, but I think that it's fair to say that this is the classic, we really hope that they get that upset, but it will not be the case. Notre Dame rolls in this game. You heard it here first unless it doesn't happen.
Give me the Irish 37-24 in this foosball game.
You and I are pretty close on that. I got Notre Dame 37, Pitt 20.
I have Notre Dame 38, Pitt 17.
We love to hear it. Irish roll over the Thurs. All right, boys. By the way, who's been handling show notes this week?
It's been flip-flopping.
Who handled them today?
I did.
Did you handle them yesterday too?
Can't remember.
Somebody on this stage is consistently of the belief that this game is going to be played in Columbia, South Carolina. This football game will be at College Station. Okay? So let's just remind that.
Bad time to have raised your hand there, I guess.
I guess I put it out South Carolina.
2 days in a row. I was going to let you go by the wayside and not correct you.
Actually, I'll take the blame here. I did it on Monday. You called me out for it.
Okay.
And then I guess Kirby just believed me.
Just football brained it?
You know what?
me
I'm
for my
not.
word.
You know what? I'm not even gonna. I'm not gonna throw J. Will under the bus here. I did the show notes today.
Okay.
So we're both victims.
All right. You know what? You know what? I'm going to take the blame on this, actually.
Actually, we're not the victims.
I'm going to jump on the grenade. You are the victims, Jonathan, because football brain's wearing off.
Ah.
You ever heard that theory about bears and women? Same thing can happen with football brain.
Huh? This thing about bears and women.
Don't get bogged down, Jonathan. I made it brief on purpose. Let's move on to this football game. South Carolina traveling on the road to Aggieland to take on the Texas A&M Aggies. Big chants in the chat. Big chants in the chat. Let's see if we got any chants in the chat tonight. Do y'all know about the chants movement?
Yes,
yeah.
I do. You think they really do it for 4 quarters?
It'd be some some longevity and some endurance that would
Guys,
be
how
rather
disrespected do
unique.
you have to feel if you're South Carolina of you're going into one of the more daunting road environments, that being Kyle Field, and instead of spending their time screaming on 3rd down, we're like, we'll just chant our quarterback's
You know what?
name.
Extremely chantable name. Marcel Reed.
Yeah.
Marcel
Has a
Reed.
good rhythm to it.
Couldn't do this with Gunner Stockton. You can't. It just
No, you
doesn't
just
work.
Glockton.
Glockton.
That's what you do.
Glockton.
Are we really questioning if A&M is gonna do some weird chant for an entire game?
Hey! Watch out now.
What? Yeah. Look, the team on the field is very good. That does not mean we can't make fun of all the extracurriculars that go on around that program.
Haven't been seeing the Midnight Yell videos this year.
They've been winning games.
Can't really laugh at them.
I only see them from opposing fans trolling them.
Yeah.
People getting on that live stream and watching it and then putting it on there. So there you go. Oh, damn, we got people trolling the chants. Marcel One Reed is crazy. That is
Dang.
crazy. That's quick on your feet, too. That's pretty impressive. Keys to the matchup for A&M, man, is continuing to play complimentary and championship-level football. I think they've done that to this point in the year. You're so much better than this South Carolina football team at this point in the year. Go finish. But really, in all seriousness, continue to pressure the quarterback. I think if you continue what you've got going on with regards to getting after the Q, especially in this matchup with how bad South Carolina is at it, you'll have a tremendous advantage. For South Carolina, it's taking advantage of the fact that they don't know what you're going to do, but we got to score. Like, we can't be, we got the element of surprise. Here's a 12-play, walk the ball down the field. We got to burn the boats early and somehow manage to get a lead with the element of surprise here.
I think the key to the matchup for South Carolina is 2 things. Special teams and Lenore Sellers. Those are massive factors for them earlier in the year, where Vicarian Swain was taking punt returns back for touchdowns, and it was getting points on the board for them without the offense even having to go on the field and potentially messing it up.
Concepcion. Vicari Swain plays for Auburn, right?
No,
you're wrong.
No.
I'm wrong? Oh, Vicari Swain, South Carolina. I'm an idiot. My bad. I'm sorry. Football brain.
Thank you.
Continue with your take, Joe.
Thank you. And then Lenore Sellers, if there is anything left, if there is any possibility that he can make something special happen in this game, that offense is going to have to – it thrives through him in this one. For Texas A&M, it's your defensive front. If they just wreak havoc the entire game, if South Carolina's offense has the inability to block you for 4 quarters, if Torian York in that front is just destroying what is in front of them the entire game, South Carolina doesn't even have a chance.
Yeah, I think special teams is going to be the biggest factor for South Carolina, on top of – how many heroic plays can Lenore Sellers make? If you get 5, oh, my God, that's why he's on so many draft boards here. You might get a chance here. And, by the way, South Carolina's defense isn't horrible. It's not Swiss cheese. They play good football. If you can get 1 or 2 turnovers from Marcel Reed, which we have seen he does occasionally, might be something to watch out for.
X factor in this football game for me is definitely Dylan Stewart and Cassius Howell. All right? Which one of these elite pass rushers can take over this football game? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think they got a great opportunity to just take it over and have a great game. One of these edge rushers can get after these Qs and flip the field.
I agree. I mean,
maybe a strip sack.
I think it favors A&M in this regard just because of what we see in that South Carolina offensive line. I have my X factor as KC Concepcion because I think that he is going to be what bursts the dam.
Especially if Mario Craver's going to be injured.
Exactly.
Injured. If he's going to be injured, I mean, you got to get Casey Concepcion the rock.
Right. And like I said, South Carolina's defense has not been that bad. They're the 22nd best defense in the country when it comes to passing. Something to look out for in that game. They've only given up 30 points or more twice. One of them was to Vanderbilt when they did not have Lenore Sellers. Obviously,
He
that
plays
has,
defense?
Well, when Lenore
He
Sellers
should.
when Lenore
He should.
brother, when you got Luke
He
Doty
should.
on the field,
Hot take. Would be less physically demanding for Lenore Sellers to play linebacker right now. The quarterback at South Carolina.
you've got some point. The other 30-point game was against Ole Miss last week. So their defense is pretty solid. Something to pay attention to. I think if Casey Concepcion can have a big game, there's no chance for South Carolina.
X factor, South Carolina's offensive line. Always is. Always will be until it gets fixed.
Swiss cheese.
It is. God, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Is there a holier cheese than Swiss?
I don't
I
think,
think
so.
Swiss is the holy.
South Carolina?
Yes, South Carolina, I guess.
Unless it doesn't happen. Speaking of, Texas A&M has 5 sacks. Should have had a dozen more. You heard it here first.
South Carolina has more 3-and-outs than they do first downs. You heard it here first unless it doesn't happen.
See, I think that's too obvious of the chalk take of where South Carolina's offense is so bad they're going to get killed immediately. Give me South Carolina having a lead in the third quarter of this game. You heard it here first unless it doesn't happen.
The old Aggie hater back at it again.
Oh, he's notorious. I keep going on Texags every week, and I keep letting them know by name Christian Kirby is a hater. He does not believe. I gave your address this week.
You don't even know my address.
That's what you think.
Could you even drive to that man's house without a map?
Guys turned in a tax form to me and doesn't think I know where he lives.
I didn't know my permanent address.
I mean, dude, I got your social. I'll find you.
That's fine. I mean,
That's what I put on Texags' board. Christian Kirby's social.
crazy threat to put out online.
It's insane. I apologize. Call HR.
all
Call
good.
HR immediately.
But no, I have A&M winning this game 27-17.
It's a good call.
You think it's close, huh?
I got a 34-10 Ags roll.
I got a 34-17.
I think it's too chalk to just come out and say that, yeah, Texas A&M's going to kill him. On paper, they should.
All right. Now that you're taking the helmet off,
What helmet? I don't know what you're talking
the
about.
thought of, which I don't know if we're going to sub-episode this or not, but the thought of the random South Carolina fan or the random Texas A&M fan finding this channel and in the middle of their team's prediction, what are the guys on the stage just putting on a football helmet for an unknown reason to them? They have no idea why.
There's a known reason. It's to let people know that I played ball.
Oh.
And then I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
In fairness, I will say this guy didn't even play football. Criticisms have gone downhill significantly against you.
No, I mean, the first time people see me, the glasses, and now, especially now that I'm for some reason, I get that this guy's a nerd, doesn't know shit a lot more now than I did when I was damn near 300 pounds. When I was 300 pounds talking ball, everybody's like, oh, the fat guy's got to take. Now it's like, what's up with the nerd that looks like Ruxin from Fantasy, the whatever show? What is it? The League. What's up with this dude giving takes? I get that all the time now. So yeah, that's Marion's hit the nail on the head. It proves that I have no shame. There's no shame. I got none. I am who I am. I'm goofy. I have fun with my boys. I told the boys before the show, I want to laugh tonight. I want to have fun. And that's exactly what we do every single night when we go into these shows. Boys, there's a big one. There's a big one out there in Tuscaloosa as the Oklahoma Sooners head out to Bryant-Denny Stadium to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's start with the keys to the matchup for Alabama, man. I don't know if I'm ready to give up on their run game totally for the year, but I'm damn sure ready to give it up for this week. Like, if we're going to summon magically a balanced attack offensively, it ain't going to be this week against this Oklahoma defense. For that reason, the key to the matchup for Alabama is just to protect Ty Simpson as much as you can. I truly believe if they give 15 time, he'll find a way to win every single down. And that's what it's going to have to be this weekend because, again, I don't expect them to magically be able to run the football this weekend against Oklahoma when I know they haven't been able to against lesser-than opponents comparative to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think that's the key to the matchup for me. When you look at what Alabama's offense has been, the times that they struggle at most this season is when you heat up Ty Simpson. That's naturally how it goes. They didn't have a great outing against LSU. South Carolina was a really close game. You could even say that Florida State kind of heated them up in the early part of the season. Georgia could not get any pressure on Ty Simpson. He absolutely dissected them. So the key to this matchup for Oklahoma will be how quickly can you get to Ty Simpson, and if you don't get to Ty Simpson, how much are you affecting his throws?
I want to add on to Oklahoma there while we're talking about the Sooners. For offensively for them and defensively for Alabama, if they're prone to anything, it's allowing an explosive, whether it be through the air or whether it be on the ground. They've been spitting runs quite a bit defensively over there, though they've played really, really solidly in the back end against the pass. But the key for Oklahoma in this game, at least the key to the win against Tennessee, was capitalizing on those moments of explosivity. They did not have consistent offensive performance against Tennessee. It was like, ooh, Napier spit one for 35 yards, capitalize with a field goal. They have to capitalize on every single one of these explosives that manages to flip the field for them, because they are the definition of a sputter and spit offense for me. There is no consistent offensive performance right now for Oklahoma, so we really have to capitalize on those when we get them into the green zones.
The key to the matchup for me in this one is, like, this kind of does feel like one of those old-fashioned SEC matchups where, like, I feel like you still say it now, but especially like 10 years ago, every single conference matchup you went into every single weekend was who's going to run the ball better, who's going to stop the run better. I think it really does kind of boil down to that one in this matchup for me. Like, which one of these teams is, and I'm not saying that one of these teams has to rush for 150 yards or 170 yards. I think it's just going to be who is able to crease the other team enough and make them respect them enough.
Got to trust the crease, John.
I mean, neither
Even
team.
if it's a little hairy. That's exactly what you said, by the way.
Yeah, it was a hairy crease.
It's no shave November, guys. Come on.
Nice.
That's where the hair comes from.
Any more keys?
Nope.
All right. It's going to be a great sub-episode to upload that randomly for people. That's on me. X factor for me, Napier's legs, right? How much balance offensively can they create? I thought his 80-plus some odd yards last week 2 weeks ago against Tennessee was like the main reason they had a chance to win that football game and flip field as many times as they did.
No, I completely agree with you. I feel like games in which Oklahoma wins, it's because Napier is a difference maker with his legs. I remember way back when we were previewing their matchup against Michigan, I said that Michigan needed to be prepared for John Napier to be keeping the ball like 10 times in that game. And he ended up keeping it, I think, 11, and he rushed for a decent amount of yards, and I thought it was a big reason why they ultimately beat Michigan in that game. Alabama's the same thing. This guy can get creative in the pocket. He can make plays with his legs, and he's a willing runner too. This isn't a guy that's just going to take the 2-yard gain on first down, get out of bounds and all. This guy is okay with taking some contact, even if he should or could avoid it. He's fine with it.
I felt like the game against Tennessee was the first time since the thumb surgery we've seen them allow him to be a willing runner.
I would agree with that.
And it revitalized their running game.
Most definitely.
As has the Robertson kid as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Robinson, I think is his name, number 24. That kid they have found some explosivity in the run game through him.
Definitely. I think that John Napier is certainly going to be an X factor in this game, but we've all talked about it. Even with John Napier playing like John Napier, there is still a lot of sputtering with this Oklahoma offense, which is why I went on the other side of the ball for the X factor. Our Mason Thomas, if he can consistently get after the quarterback in this game or just change the way that Alabama has to attack offenses or attack Oklahoma through the air, this could get very, very interesting, which that's for my X factor. Which, by the way, this would be an incredible game to see live between these two teams. And if you would like to do so, if you're an Alabama fan, head over to our friends over at SeatGeek. They have more than 700 events listed, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. I love using them. I use them personally. Has your back for every ticket. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal or not. Look for the green dots. Green dots means good. Red means bad. Pretty straightforward there. Every ticket is backed by a buyer guarantee, and of course, we've got a promo code for you. Use code FilmGuy10 to get 10% off your next set of tickets. Head over to SeatGeek now and use promo code FilmGuy10 to get 10% off.
Shout out to our friends at SeatGeek, and shout out to our final score prediction in this football game. Actually, we got unless it doesn't happen. Guys, they're asking their quarterback to make every single play, essentially, at Alabama right now. Whether it's deciding whether or not we have an ability to run the football or whether it's putting every bit of their offense efficiency and obviously explosivity on his shoulders. But Ty Simpson's got a lot on his plate right now. And this is a bad defense to have to drop back 42 times and expect to play really, really clean. You heard it here first. Ty Simpson throws multiple interceptions in this football game.
Same note, because I have Alabama has multiple turnovers in this game. I didn't necessarily know if he was going to throw interceptions. He's been really good about avoiding them this year. He's gotten lucky with a couple of them, but I think that the turnovers are going to come in the form of strip sacks. We've seen a handful of times that's how you get the turnovers here. We saw one against South Carolina, had one against LSU against last week. So that's kind of where I got the multiple turnovers. But I agree. I think this will be a turnover-heavy game.
Probably should have added this immediately after. I'm picking Alabama to win this football game. I don't think, even if he does throw a couple interceptions.
Way to spoil the prediction.
I mean, I'm fearful of getting clipped. You know, Bama Brooks got to protect that PR.
Now I don't want to do the rest of the segment.
We were holding them all the way to the end, waiting for our predictions, and now we just let it out the bag.
29-24.
Whoa, hey.
Go ahead.
Unless it doesn't happen.
29, huh?
Neither team scores a single point in the fourth quarter. I think we just get a defensive stalemate in the fourth quarter. Both offenses are trying to make a play. Like one team is trying to give the final punch to put it out of hand. The other team scratching and clawing their way, trying to tie it up, do anything that they can to make sure that they avoid that or maybe push it to overtime. But I think you just get defenses making plays in the fourth quarter.
I like that one. That's how the Georgia game ended, kind of.
Obviously, let's do score predictions now. If I had to go into this football game and trust one of these one-dimensional offenses to put it all on their quarterback, and I had to pick one of them, I'm picking Ty Simpson. And for that reason, I'm picking Alabama 29-24.
Yeah, I'm not just picking Ty Simpson. I'm picking the wide receiver weapons. I'm picking all of the other stuff. So I went with Alabama winning 26-24. So I think that was kind of the avenue that I went. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think, like you said, Jay, well, there's going to be a lot of defensive struggles at points. There's going to be a lot of offensive struggles. I think it's going to be very much back and forth, but at home with Ty Simpson, I'm going to trust Alabama to win this game.
Yeah, I predicted this, Bama 27, Oklahoma 20. And I will say this, I felt rather confident that Tennessee was going to kind of handle Oklahoma when they matched up against them a couple of weeks ago. And it's because I thought that Tennessee's offense was way more explosive. I didn't think that Oklahoma's offense could ultimately hang with them for 4 quarters. And it didn't play out that way because Oklahoma's defense turned the ball over. Now, Joey Aguilar, a whole lot more turnover prone than Ty Simpson is. But if Oklahoma is going to pull this game off, it's going to have to be the tune of that. How they played Tennessee, the turnovers they were able to create, and the plays that their offense made, that's how they're going to have to beat this Alabama team because, I mean, Ty Simpson has dissected everybody. I mean, he's been very efficient throughout the entire year. Has had a couple down weeks back-to-back a little bit, but I think that when you get into one of these matchups, like for these big games, it seems like that guy is dialed in better than anybody on the football field. And if he is on Saturday, I just find it hard for Oklahoma's defense to stop them enough times. And on top of that, I find it hard enough to believe that Oklahoma's offense will do enough to hang with them. So that's kind of why I'm feeling Alabama's going to hold it out on this one.
Do we get Super Chubs today?
I don't know if it did or not.
While you're doing that, I will say I don't necessarily know if there's an avenue at all. I don't think so at all for this game to end up anything like last year's. I don't think, for as much as we talk about how Ty Simpson will probably have maybe a few turnovers, they're not going to be Jalen Miller-esque. They're not going to be, my God, what are you doing? I don't think that offense is going to completely sputter altogether. So I think that if Alabama loses this game, it's going to be very, very close.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I don't see any Super Chubs at the moment. Maybe Brooks can help us out with that here in a second. So I don't know. We're trying to make sure we don't miss any Super Chubs now before we head over to our good old local hour.
I'll take a phone call real quick.
All good?
All right, let's get the Super Chubs real quick. Might have a nug on that phone call. Yeah. Let's get to fan funding over here. Can we talk about how Kentucky plays a 10-0 Tennessee Tech?
Oh. Tennessee Tech like that?
I don't know. They're a 40-point dog.
There's not – well, I didn't see a line on the game.
39.5 according to ESPN.
Whoa.
That doesn't have betting anymore.
I think I would, take the – Kentucky's going to score 40 points?
They handled Florida last
never mind.
week.
That's Kentucky. I looked at the Tennessee line. I'm sorry. Tennessee plays a mid-major.
New Mexico State, I believe.
Yeah, they're favored by 49.
Yeah, I was going to say. That makes more sense.
Ooh, that's hairy.
Is that the only Super Chub we have?
Yeah, it is. Would that a loss to Tennessee Tech get you fired?
No.
Not after him rescuing his job the last couple of weeks?
Not after what you just did to the Florida Gators, dude. You embarrassed them.
Yeah, and Auburn.
Yeah, he's fine. This is the classic Mark Stoops. Yeah, you know what? We went 6-6, but hey, we beat one or two teams that made us feel good. So,
hey, we have a whole nother hour coming up next. Shout out to my boy Rudy. We'll see y'all on the other side.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into the Film Guy Network for another loaded local hour. Boy, we got a great one for you guys tonight. We're going to give you the latest on the injury report ahead of this matchup between Georgia and Texas. Billy Napier at Georgia's practice will tell you what it means and what it could potentially mean down the line. Could Georgia be this year's Ohio State? We'll talk about that and some other side quests on tonight's show as well. But let's start tonight's show with, where do we want to start? The injury report.
Yes.
What do we have on the injury report right about now, boys?
All right, so if you're just now joining us for the local hour, we kind of teased this a little bit. This is a first for me in covering any SEC team. I have never, in the 2 years since I've started doing this, had a team have nothing to report. Not a player listed as out, not a player listed as probable. There is literally none to report, which is the case for Texas. They do not have a single name or anything on their injury report list. For Georgia, pretty standard ops here. The five that are expected to be out are out. Colby Young, Ethan Barbour, Taylor Taylor, Kyron Jones, and Jordan Hall, all out, not going to play. Listed as probable, Josh Horton, which did he suffer an injury last week, or maybe
might have had a finger,
maybe a practice thing, but I don't remember ever seeing him go down. And then the big one that I think a lot of people were concerned about, Lawson Lucky, also listed as probable. So Kirby Smart gave a pretty optimistic report immediately after the game. We know his mother went to social media to also thank the fans for their outpouring support and also provided a really optimistic outlook. It seems like it's leaning towards he's probably going to play, which is a great sign.
Kirby did say on Monday that he's probably going to have a quicker turnaround than what they maybe would have expected initially.
I mean, it'd be par for the course at this point this year. Well, Norris Sellers came back in 7 days. Arch Manning came back in 7 days. This would be 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, this would be longer than both of those turnarounds. Both of those were knocked out or concussions in night games, came back for noon starts.
Yeah.
This is a concussion and a noon start, come back for a night game.
Yeah, that's
It's totally different.
Extra time for that heal.
A whole 12 hours.
That's right.
Well, not even that.
A lot can
a whole
happen in 12
8
hours.
Yeah.
With the loss of Jordan Hall, though, you certainly need Joshua Horton ready to go in this matchup. He need that interior defensive line to be ready and healthy.
Super Chub asking for bad things. Love Channel and Takes. Would have loved to have went up against you in an Oklahoma drill, sir.
I think he just said he wants to beat your ass.
I think he did. I think he's sadly mistaken.
Mike wants to smoke.
Mike can get the smoke. I still got my pads. I don't know about you, Mike. They're up in the garage. I got a board, too.
Just handing out CTE after the age of 30.
I'm just going to let you know, I ain't got nothing to live for except for this here content and my family. I'm ready to die for both in that board drill.
Bro, that is not dying for content or your family. That's just dying. That's just a casual, let me go get some life-altering CTE real quick.
I feel like that's the type of thing that would be titled Florida Man Dies Doing Oklahoma Drill in Backyard. Like that would be that type of headline.
Absolutely.
Content creator found dead.
I just had to let Mike know I still got one good one left in me. You know, I'm a whole lot lighter than my old playing weight, but I still got one in me.
Yeah, no, I'm good on that.
Yeah, I'm good on it too. I'll talk a big game, but I'm good on that.
I was telling people, I think my generation was like the last generation that just straight up was just hitting at practice, all youth practice.
Yeah, like all the time at practice for sure.
Like
we young generation, yeah.
Yeah,
they're not out here doing bull in the ring.
No.
I don't even know what bull in the ring is.
What?
Bull in the ring.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't. Yeah. No.
That was warm ups. That was what you started practice.
You think there's any throw 'em up, beat 'em up going on nowadays?
I don't know.
I doubt it. Jonathan, did y'all play throw 'em up, beat 'em up? It was called a little something different that you're not allowed to say nowadays.
Yeah.
Kill the carrier.
Sure.
That was
Or in some neighborhoods, throw 'em up, bust 'em up. I've heard it called
definitely
that
play
before.
that game before.
Yeah. I don't even think they'd be out here doing it like that no more.
I don't see it too often.
Kids these days. It's a damn shame. I want to get right into What If Wednesday.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
You want to do that?
Let's do it.
Let's get right into What If Wednesday. What if Texas can run the ball this weekend?
That's not good.
certainly
Right.
takes a lot of pressure off of Arch Manning heading into this one.
Well, and it neutralizes whatever pass rush plans you got going on this week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the idea of whatever blitz package you got for 3rd and long ain't getting dialed up in 3rd and 2.
No, it's not.
So it's a thing that I'm looking at in terms of like if that happens, if they're balanced and just might be quote unquote fixed like they think they are, it's another one of them SEC games where you might have to score north of 35 points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's definitely an avenue the way that we've seen Georgia's defense play at times this season of where you will have to do that. But I just don't know. I can't necessarily wrap my head around them having sustained success in the running game.
I don't think so either. But I mean, Wisner is individually talented.
Oh, yeah, he
very
is.
much so.
I mean, we know this to be the case. All it really takes is like 2 or 3 spits.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden he's rushed for 75 yards and they've collectively rushed for 130 because the quarterback's involved.
Right.
Fun
that,
fact.
That could happen.
Fun fact: Texas has not had a player go for 100 yards rushing in a game this season.
Have they rushed for more than 150 yards in a game against a Power 4 opponent?
I
I've
would
not
imagine
checked that.
Oh, because Power 4 opponent? I don't know
Yeah.
about that one.
So I'm just curious to see what would happen
So-
if they actually became balanced because they haven't been all year.
No, I mean, mine's kind of a similar. What if Georgia doesn't run the ball super effectively? What if, because coming into this game, we're kind of assuming that, all right, Georgia's going to be able to really put their heads down and bully you for some rushing yards. What if they can't do that? What if Georgia is unable to do that? Which, by the way, is a real option considering who they have playing on the edge.
I want to spin off that, and I want to ask you, what if neither team can run the ball? What if this football game, I going into it, I say one of you passing departments has to keep your quarterback upright and throw for 350 yards today with no running game. Who gets that done?
You favor Georgia in that one, I think.
Why?
Well, Gunnar Stockton in 2 massive matchups this season has done exactly that. Against Tennessee, he did it. Against Ole Miss, he did it. And you mentioned keeping the quarterback upright. Georgia may not be the best pass rushing team, but Georgia has been far more productive in keeping Gunnar Stockton upright this year as opposed to Texas.
It's
and Arch Manning.
a really interesting question because it could happen.
Yeah.
There is a very strong possibility that both these run defenses show up and eliminate run offense. But it's really compelling because of what you're saying. Georgia's not all that great at getting after the quarterback. Texas is not all that great at protecting their quarterback, statistically speaking. Georgia's not all that great in the explosive passing department, but Texas has given it up in terms of blown assignments in the back end the last couple of weeks. Very, very, if it gets laid at the feet of the quarterback, I don't really know who has an advantage.
I would give a slight, and I mean minuscule advantage to Georgia because the concepts that they have. There are a lot of hit it now, hit it quickly type of where pass rush is going to be irrelevant for Texas to where if we get Zachariah Brents the ball in space with screens and things like that, quick hitters, you're going to have success offensively. You're going to have some success. I think a lot of Texas's offense in the passing game has been a revolve around. Now, they have some in the flats too. I trust Georgia DBs to make those tackles more than I trust Texas. But a lot of it seems like it's a lot of long developing plays that require you to protect your quarterback. And that's why their offense hasn't been good this year.
One thing I know for a fact, neither one of these quarterbacks give a damn if they get hit hard. If it's about
they don't.
If it's about can they stand in and are they willing to be tough enough to compete from the pocket, the answer about both of them is a resounding yes.
Ooh, that's a fun one. That's a fun not a what if, but a hypothetical toughness contest. Who you taking?
Gunner, because he still gets up. He's gotten up every time.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy has been out once. So now that was a glancing blow. That was a little unfortunate.
I think Gunner would have been
But
out if you took that one.
I think so too.
You know what? No.
Actually,
I take that back.
That dude's been dead on the field. He's been
That
scorpion
man-
posed, eyes in the back of his head.
I could not. The fact that he stood up and walked around after that hit.
Yeah. By the way, there obviously very clearly is no, and I'm not going to say this, it's a medical issue, but in the NFL, they will voice down on the TV broadcast and say, hey, Buddy's eyes roll back in his head. We can't let that guy play the rest of the football game. There ain't none of that in college football. No, there is not. No, there is not. There is so much. We don't even talk about so-and-so's had a concussion. Coaches do not talk
They don't
about
use the C word, but there's
No, they
also
don't.
not. There also
it's a
isn't
complete
a,
look the other way still.
But there's
in
also
football
not
for me.
you just got your bell rung, little buddy. Go on and get back
No,
out there.
no. There's none of that. But I've seen a lot this year where I'm like, that dude's quote unquote had his bell rung right now. Because we watch a lot of tape, we see it, And, not a lot of, hey, get 3 off the field. He can't really count to 6
they do not
right
have
now.
scouters. They do
That's
not.
all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is in the NFL, you ain't getting away with it no more. You're not coming off to the sideline and your buddy putting up 2 because it's Tuesday and we're getting away with the medical protocol in the NFL. You can still do that in college, essentially. That's all I'm saying.
What if Colin Simmons has a similar performance to what he did against Vanderbilt?
Oh,
Would it be that big of an impact to where it loses you the game?
They lost Vandy the game.
I would also say that their defense played a role in that as well.
Yeah, but their defense got handed a short field, and their defense got left on the field 3 possessions in a row because Colin Simmons got their offense off the field. So I thought he had just as much of a role played in that hot start for them offensively as anybody on their offense did.
yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. I don't think Georgia schematically is going to provide Colin Simmons to have the type of impact. Like, why are we running read option and making Colin Simmons the read guy?
Kirby, I know you watched the film like we did. If you watch that, it's very clear to me that Vandy went into that football game knowing that they couldn't block him, so they weren't even going to try. They read him all game to no avail. He made all the plays on it because he's too twitchy to be read, and they rolled away from him every single time they had an opportunity to.
Yeah.
So that's why I tweeted what I did about him. And I asked the boys today before the show, I don't know of a box or line of scrimmage football player that I've studied on this network that has so obviously made a coordinator like Tim Beck just chop the whole thing and say, all right, the whole game plan today is to avoid number 1. I haven't seen a line of scrimmage player have that much impact on what the offense is doing because they can't do shit about me. So they're just going to avoid me the best they can.
Jadeveon Clowney was this, I feel like.
And that was a long
That's
time
15
ago.
years ago. Was
And
Chase-
honestly, that was one season.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Jadeveon's
2012.
last year of college football did not feel that way.
I mean, he was
milking it.
I'm the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Oh, my hamstring hurts, coach.
And we mentioned Jalen Carter before the show, but that was spurts.
Yes.
Like, just hope he doesn't win the game when he does it.
Was Chase Young this for Ohio State? I felt like there was a while where
Didn't he have a Bosa on the other end for most of that time? Like, you couldn't dedicate your
Might
entire
have, yeah.
I don't know if he did in 2019 though. I think that was solely
the big sack year.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's one of this. Maybe you felt like you had to dedicate your whole entire game plan to him.
I just remember he's like one of the last defensive end players that got
Yeah.
serious talks. Like, this guy should be in the Heisman conversations for what he's doing. So maybe it was Chase Young. Maybe I'm just misremembering that. But other than that, no, I can't really think of one where
I
it's.
texted a source today and said, he reminds me of, and it's not even a remind me of, it's a combination. You know how great of a pass rusher Hassan Reddick was for those 2 years? Is he still doing it? I know there's like a
It's
thing
kind of
going on.
cooled off a little bit.
So he had a damn near 20 sack season, didn't he? Or something like that. But he can't play on early downs. Whereas Nolan Smith can play on early downs but can't get after the quarterback all that well. This kid is a dominant, twitchy pass rusher and an elite first and second down player because he's a lunatic. I love him.
Oh, yeah,
And
he's
it
a
was-
phenomenal football player.
The only thing about him was he's not 6'5". And by the way, I had this conversation again with somebody in a building today. If you think that the next one's going to be this, you're wrong. You're wrong. I've always said this about these 6'2", 230-pounders. Hell, I looked at my DMs today with an SEC football coach that recruited him because I saw him at a camp, and he was asking me about him in high school. And I said, Coach, he's only about 6'2 and a half. And I did it. And you know what? I'm going to do it to the next one, too, because these guys are unicorns. You're not this size and this physically dominant in this sport unless you're a crazy person. So there's a 5-star in the 2020 just reclassed or trying to reclass into 2026 from South Georgia. I'm telling you, I'm not betting on him being this, even though he's ranked like he's going to be this.
Yeah.
This is special. So just remember that when you study kids like this.
Fair enough.
Like Will Anderson's getting put in the chat. Guys, Will Anderson's almost 6'4". He's 248 pounds. He's got a 34 and a half inch wingspan or arm length. Like, this is a totally different animal than 6'2 and a quarter, 235 sawed off, runs a 4.38. Like, it's totally different.
What if Arch Manning gives you the Oklahoma performance where he's not making wow special plays, but he's also just playing efficient quarterback play?
Then they didn't need superhero work.
That would tell me that their defense was rather dominating.
So
They didn't put it at his feet, is what you're saying. If he gets to go out there and go ho-hum 10 for 17, 177, they either scored 16 points in a rock fight like they did against Kentucky, or special teams and defense gave them short fields like it did against Oklahoma.
Okay.
Their losing efforts are him dropping back 35 times and having to throw for 350, I feel like, and getting smacked. What was his stat line against Florida?
I think he threw like 2 and some 80-something, some change.
And dropped back 32 times and got sacked 5 and rushed to the line of scrimmage another 5 times.
He was definitely getting heated up in that.
He threw for 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
On how many attempts?
29.
Which is really, he got sacked 5 times, is really how many dropbacks? I mean, they probably dropped back 40 times.
Mm-hmm. And how many of those were?
That's what I'm saying. He got sacked 5 times and escaped it 5 times.
They probably dropped him back 40 times in that game.
And look, they're going. If they win this football game, they're going to drop him back 40 times.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe they're going to come in here and run the football. What if Texas DBs being a problem is solved by Michael Taft getting back into the equation?
Oh, very well.
How much of that can he rectify?
I think they're getting 2 starting safeties back this weekend.
Phil Same left the midway to the football game last week. If that's the one you're mentioning. He was available last week and then got hurt.
I think that they can certainly help with you potentially giving up big explosives to Georgia and getting guys on the ground rather quickly, making sure that if Zachariah Branch catches a ball 8 yards off the line of scrimmage, it's not going to go for 25. It's going to go for maybe 8 or 9. I think they can certainly help in that regard. But when it comes to cornerback play, I mean, there's yardage always there. The safeties can only do so much to help you out in those situations.
To the Texas fans giving me crap saying Colin Simmons is 6'3", I would put a small wager on anybody that would take me that he is going to be sub 6'3", flat-footed at the NFL Combine. 6'2 3/4", which is fine. Again, but I'm just telling you, NFL defensive ends are 6'5", 270 normally. That's what they normally look like. And I know he's an outside linebacker, but he's a stand-up edge rusher. He's going to have to take on blocks at the next level. Again, just a total sidebar.
How tall was
right
Jalen
there.
Walker?
Huh?
How tall was Jalen Walker?
Jalen Walker at the Combine 6'1 3/4", wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit, quote-unquote, sawed off. So.
Loading.
Oh. He might have been 6 foot and 3/4, honestly.
I don't remember him being that tall.
He's not. He's just a ball of muscle.
Yeah.
NFL's website does not want to load.
As a dense human being.
Yeah, a very dense human being. What if last week was just a primer for Elias Williams?
Ooh,
Sign hell of a primer
right now.
It's a hell of a primer.
And I think this is always kind of what the Georgia offense has been, to where you have your weapons going into the season. At the first half of the season, it's kind of, all right, these are the role players, or the guys that we're going to use. And then that second half, you just stumble upon gems. If Elias Williams gets 3 targets in a game, that is huge for this Georgia offense. And Lawson Lucky's probable to play. Lawson Lucky very well might play. I'm not throwing Lawson Lucky passes and putting him in that type of situation coming off of that hit that we saw. Give those to Elias Williams. Let the other, like Oscar Delp, get those. So I think there is certainly an avenue for Elias Williams to make a bigger impact.
Georgia's kind of teased 2 of these now. I mean, Elias Williams was getting playing time early in the season. You kind of started seeing him getting rolled out there in some situations. I think going all the way back to the Tennessee game. I remember them rolling out 13 personnel, and that one with Elias Williams on the field. So he's been slowly getting put into the game plan. And now Landon Roldan, it's been 2 weeks in a row where they've given that guy playmaking opportunities. Not just, hey, we're going to put 84 on the field right now. He's going to just get a rep in real quick. No, it was, hey, we're dialing up a deep shot for him, and then we're going to give him a chance on an end around to try and make something happen. Now, neither one of those were successful, but that is 2 true freshmen that they have said, we trust these guys right now to give them an opportunity to go make a big play in this game. So it definitely gives the defense something else to look out for, something to keep an eye on of hey, 84's in the game, hey, 10's in the game, those types of things.
There's a lot – you'll have a better answer on this than I think most.
What's up?
Is he kind of just going to take up that gap that Colby Young's traits had?
In terms of one-on-one high point football guy?
Yeah.
I think he gets that role when needed. Differently though, he did it from the slot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can put him outside in red zone situations, but I don't know if that's what we want to do. Yeah, in the sense of he's one of these vertical threats that you can use. I got a text message today that says something must – I mean, it's been brewing for a while with this kid, but something must have happened during the bye week. I got a text message today that, like, for someone in the building's like, he's a $100 millionaire. Like, this kid will be a $100 millionaire tight end. He would be one of the best to do this, like, when he's done type of text messages. Yeah.
Whoa.
Best to do this?
Like one of the best to do this. This is a $100 millionaire type of talent.
Better than Brock Bowers?
And now I'm not saying he is first and foremost. I know this is going to sound insane. God gave Brock Bowers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He might have given Elias Williams more.
Oh, that's not insane to say.
You know, like he might have gave him more.
Last time I checked, Brock Bowers was not 6'7".
No, and look, Brock's a really hard worker. He's a really, really hard worker. This kid's a lunatic too.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like this kid is I want it all. I want give me everything that you've got. I'll drink as much as I possibly can. I'll take as much as I can.
That's very evident with him because very similar to these types of athletes that come out of high school as a 5-star player, one of the best players in the country. That guy is not playing end-of-line tight end in high school. He's not being asked to do what he is kind of being asked to do a little bit at Georgia already. Like that blocking rep, probably not even existing on his high school highlight reel, I would imagine.
He was in a triple down there at Camden for 3 years.
Okay.
Playing defensive end. That's what I talked about with Paul off air. It's like this dude was playing high school defensive end and inline tight end in a triple for 3 years. And then his 4th year, they got a new head coach and they started air raiding. And it was like, oh, we got an avatar. Let's make him play X. Went for a rack. Like he had more yards receiving and more receptions in his final year than I think the first 3 years combined in high school.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So, yeah, this was a guy that had the building blocks of you're big and physical, then and by the way, never saw Elias on the 7-on circuit, never saw him in the camp circuit, didn't really do the thing. All right, just played Camden County football and was a 5-star. And his last year he got to be best player, go catch ball, go beat small corner in high school. But the first 3 years were, let's be a football player first. And I think that's what you see. So you see a football player first.
So kind of like in hindsight, a very beneficial career path for him almost in high school.
To an extent. I mean, also, like, I think the best thing about Elias is that they've properly put weight on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The biggest fear about 6'7" weapons, and I feel this way about Pro Throw. Pro Throw might be 255 pounds one day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you seen him in person?
Oh, yeah.
Those shoulders are so broad that there's just so much room to put weight on him that even if he just naturally just gets bigger, he's going to gain 30 pounds. So those types of things. I don't know how much bigger Elias gets. I don't think he needs to. He's plenty strong, plenty long, and plenty fast right about now. What should we get into next?
We could hit a side quest.
Let's hit a side quest.
Let's do
Tell me what you got.
Do the fantasy update real quick.
Ooh, a update?
Of course
That's
you want to do a
close.
fantasy
I wouldn't call
update.
it that anymore.
Here's your fantasy update. Nate Frazier scored over 200 points by himself. Christian beat me. That's your update. Despite me having Noah Thomas, despite me having Chauncey Bowens, despite me having Dylan Bell, all of that, Nate Frazier single-handedly beat me in fantasy this week. That's all you need to know. Okay?
I do want to share a behind-the-scenes story that I think the audience would appreciate. This was the third quarter of the game, and Nate Frazier has just gone on his 59-yard rushing touchdown. Me and Jay Will are in the booth, kind of looking at each other, smiling like, oh,
You
good
two
run.
and Mark Weiser.
Oh, yeah, Mark Weiser, the boy.
Mark Weiser,
homie.
Mark Weiser joins in on the fun every now and then. And, Jay Will smiling like, I'm glad that Nate
Yeah, I was happy for him. I was like,
Yeah.
gosh, he deserved – I think I said he deserved that, man. Good for Nate.
I look over at Jay Will with the devious smile, and I go, you know what this means, right? And he goes, what? I said, you just lost in fantasy. The smile wiped off his face completely, and he knew exactly what it was because I think at that point Nate Frazier had gone for over 100 yards.
Yeah.
You know what, Jonathan? I'm glad to know ball means that much to you, man. I'm glad you're that competitive about the update.
The update.
Yeah, the fantasy update, dude.
That's crazy.
I'm so glad that it means that much to you.
But no, with my victory, I have secured another successful season. Of
Unless they
Unless.
go on a national title run.
Yes, unless J. Will
Ooh.
wins every game from here on out.
So you saying there's
still a chance, baby.
It's not. He's not.
There's a
If
chance.
Gunnar Stockton has anything to do with it, I have a chance.
Chat saying talk about Jaden Wade prediction to UGA. I did a week ago when we told you he was going there.
He a dog.
But yeah, no, that's the fantasy update.
There you go.
So.
There's your quick update.
Attaboy, it's sticking. Update to stay.
It's too close.
Hit me with another side quest, boys.
There was an interesting conversation that sparked earlier this week about the potential of Georgia being this year's Ohio State. And it probably sounds a little crazy because last year Ohio State went on a run, won the national title, one of the more insane runs that we've seen. Obviously, it was the first year at the 12-team playoff, and that was the introduction of a team that was fresh off of a loss to Michigan. To end the regular season, everybody was out on them. Ohio State fans were on the verge of saying, Ryan Day, get the heck out of here if you don't beat Tennessee. They wind up beating the doors off of Tennessee, beating the doors off of Oregon, and winning a national title last year, completely rejuvenating that program. So one of those where people are kind of out on them. People didn't know where to place them, and then all of a sudden they get hot at the right time. They go and win a national title. So Joe Klatt mentioned that after this past weekend's game against Mississippi State and how they looked and how dominant they looked, of how they remind him of last year's Ohio State team. I don't know how I personally feel about that because it's a little bit of different context where I guess you could classify, like Georgia doesn't have a loss to Michigan where you walked into a weekend, you expected to beat an opponent, and you get handed a loss, and then you had to pick yourself back up. You lost to Alabama, who many expected you to win, many expected you to beat the Crimson Tide, but it's Alabama. They're proven to be one of the top 5 teams in the country right now. Ty Simpson, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But considering like the amount of close calls that they've had, the amount of times that they played with fire, the close game against Florida, like those types of matchups to where people are like, I don't know if I'm buying in on Georgia. I like how Texas A&M looks. Ohio State's the best team in the country right now. Indiana looks way better. Alabama, far more consistent right now. All those things. And then there's Georgia where people, like, it might be one of those teams where it's like, oh, that happened.
Hot take. We're not going to know who the Ohio State of this year is until the Ohio State of this year happens.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Nobody could have predicted Ohio State to do what they did.
No.
They were fresh. That's the craziest thing about that. For looking back, they were fresh off that Michigan loss.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they went and beat the shit out of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
They hadn't played a game. We didn't have an opportunity for a get-right game.
No.
They came out of nowhere, beat a good Tennessee football team, though flawed. Quarterback, not very good. Running back, Dylan Sampson, which was their whole identity last year, banged up in that football game, tweaked his hammy going into it. So, like, there were signs that they should have won that football game, but there were no signs that they were about to do what they did to Tennessee and then go on and do what they did to Oregon and then go on and do what they did to Texas and then go on and do what they did in the national championship game against Notre Dame. So there is no let's rush to a take and say so-and-so's Ohio State this year. No one knew what was going to happen last year.
I still prefer my comparison of Georgia being this year's Notre Dame. I still really like that
I do
comparison
too,
a
especially.
whole lot more.
You gave that in August, July.
I think it was May.
May.
It was pretty far back in the offseason when I rattled that one off.
And looking at it now, I mean, they are a team based off execution, toughness, and running the football and playing defense.
And especially when you look at it from this perspective of Notre Dame last year, like especially for my money, they were a team that when you got into the playoffs, it seemed like that was the week that it was going to end. I didn't feel that way with them going up against Indiana last year. I thought Notre Dame had a really good chance of knocking them off. But when they matched up against Georgia, it was, that team doesn't have enough firepower. That quarterback isn't special enough to beat them. They go and do it. Penn State, kind of the same thing where, that Penn State defense is really good. Don't know if that quarterback and offense can do enough. Sure enough, they do. And then they ultimately lost the national title, yeah, but it was more so about how you had to beat that team and how that team beat you. That's exactly what Georgia's doing to teams right now.
Yeah, and I do think that while it's going to be impossible to predict who this year's Ohio State is, if there even is going to be one, it does kind of talk about how important it is to heat up at this time of the year. How important it is to play your best football
to start peaking
from late November to December, because that's when it matters most. Like, there's a lot of teams out here, and I think we've looked around the entire season for Georgia in that aspect and said it doesn't feel like this team's played their best football. Saturday against Mississippi State was their best game so far, but there were still a lot of things. Like, you were trailing in the first quarter of that game.
Yep.
You had a fumble on the goal line. There were a lot of things to fix from that. So Georgia has not played its best football yet, but it's continually getting better, it seems.
They haven't played a complete game against a quality opponent yet.
Mm-mm.
If you want to say Kentucky was, but Kentucky
It's
was
not a quality opponent.
Okay, SEC.
I know, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
A top 40 football program this year, they have not played a complete football game.
No.
Now, they are a one-loss football team right now. They've found ways to win, whether it be through excellent defensive performances against Auburn or great offensive performances against Tennessee and the likes of that and Ole Miss. But they have not played a multi-side complementary football game for 4 quarters against a quality opponent yet.
Mm-hmm.
They have an opportunity to do so this weekend against Texas. You want to talk about this Billy Napier thing?
Before
Yeah,
we
I
do
think
that,
the
let's give a
chat is-
quick shout out to our friends over at Ridge. The holiday season's coming up, and if you're
Holiday season!
oh man, that's an ad lib I haven't heard in a while. Holiday season's coming up, and if you're looking for something great to get your father or anyone else in your life that needs a new wallet, head over to ridge.com. They have these sleek and super stylish wallets, fit in your pocket perfectly. Money clips on the back, super strong elasticity. They also have the keychain that holds credit
that
cards and
thing's
debit
slick.
cards. Very fun stuff here. What do you got over there?
I got their power bank. And again, promo code Brooks10 gets you 10% off over there at Ridge. We have a night game this weekend in Athens. I'm going to be in Athens at 7:30 in the morning. I'm going to be there till about 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning. Oh, dude, it's all day.
We're rolling out that early.
Oh, buddy, we're going to have a time in Athens this weekend. But I'm going to need an extra battery source. And my friends over at Ridge have me locked in with a power bank. Shout out to our friends at Ridge. What's so goofy over there?
I was just, consoling Jay Will.
Oh, poor Jay Will got to spend 14 hours in the Classic City. Woe is me.
I didn't know we were going to leave that early.
Dude, SEC Nation in town, Matt Galatson in town, Jordan Reed in town. We got Brodies to show the Classic
No
City.
mention of Unk. Of all those names, we didn't mention Unk.
Unk is a stop, one of the many destinations along the ride.
Unk would have
All
been
right,
named one.
I mentioned those going along for the ride. All right, he is a premier stop in the ride. Do you see what I'm saying? When we talk about our trip to Six Flags, we lead by who's going with us, not the things that we're going to see when we're there.
I'm just
Unk
saying.
is the Goliath. We know this.
Just saying, Unk would have been named number 1 off my list. I just want him to know that.
Brown noser.
Just love me some Unk.
All right, serious note, though. Serious news. Billy Napier spotted and confirmed at practice this weekend. Now, what I don't have the ability to confirm at this point is whether or not this is a long-term thing, all right? But what I will tell you is, this makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. Hell, we mentioned it being a possibility during the Florida week.
Yeah, we did.
Of hey.
Oh, y'all want to fire me?
Yo,
Watch this shit.
Not only that, more of just it's very obvious that these guys are buddies. They've been lifelong friends for quite some time. Their parents have allegiances. Their dads competed against one another as high school football coaches. Speaking of Kirby and Billy's daddy, Billy is a state of Georgia guy. I think he's from the Gainesville area. This is a obvious alignment of sorts in terms of they have mutual respect for one another. And we know this about Kirby. If he has any mutual respect for a former Fire football coach, he'll let him come work on the staff as a very expensive analyst. That being said, one of 2 Texas losses this year happens to be the Florida Gators, coached by one Billy Napier.
That was my
It
thing
makes
of,
so much alignment sense.
How many times as a head coach do you have another head coach that defeated the opponent you're about to play magically just have all the time in the world, all the time to become available, is not having to prepare for a game of his own, is not having to do recruiting, is not having to do anything. He does not have a job right now. How often does that happen? Of course. And by the way, you have parental ties with that guy. You have history with that guy. You've been on staff with that guy. You've come out and publicly said that you're friends with that guy. Yeah. Of course Billy Napier was going to be in Athens. Of course that he's probably helping, doing some advanced scouting for, hey, this was what worked well with us when we played Texas and beat them. Here's what we think will help you.
Apparently Napier's from Murray County.
There you go. I thought it made complete sense. I didn't understand why people were so surprised by it. Florida fans understand. You're probably kind of taken back a bit because this guy just coached for your program for multiple years, and the first thing he does, the next time this guy's in the headlines, he's potentially helping out one of your biggest rivals. Yeah, you're going to feel some type of way about that. But considering the history of these two, considering the relationship that Kirby Smart and Billy Napier have, all that stuff.
Considering my run-in with Florida Gator fans, they probably thought this was, Georgia's cooked. They just hired Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Ha, ha, ha.
Oh, yeah.
They get our sloppy seconds no different than they did with Mike White. Ha, 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 ha. Gators.
I will say this. To the common fan, the idea of a rival's head coach immediately going to another rivalry team to help them out or to assist them is a foreign and shocking concept. And that I understand because there are a lot of people that necessarily like college football. They cheer for fans. They have their favorite team. They don't understand the nuances that go into head coaching. All of these guys are friends. All of these guys get along. The teams on the field don't get along. The fan bases hate each other, but that's not the case with this. Nick Saban and Kirby Smart were like a father-son combo, as much as Alabama fans and Georgia fans hated each other. It would not be surprising that Nick Saban has visited Kirby Smart, and I'm not, putting any speculations out, but I'm just saying if that were the case, it wouldn't be surprising.
More of a don't like that. Brent Venables wearing Clemson stuff when he went back to Clemson this past weekend during a bye week, or this? You didn't see this?
I don't have a problem with either.
Brent Venables was on the sideline at Clemson rocking all kind of Clemson gear.
I would have a problem. I would have a problem with that.
Hey, Jonathan, his son plays on the team. Does that change anything?
Bro, his son plays on the team. You got to rep your boy.
Also, Dabo Swinney has an elite Brent Venables impression. Have y'all seen this?
No.
It's got to be a draw. It's a draw. If you not seen, you got to watch this. This is good stuff.
Good for Dabo.
Dabo's winning folks back.
Good for
Hate on the
Dabo to get
referees.
back.
Do a funny impression.
Oh, he'll do something to lose all of them again. Don't you worry about that.
Good for Dabo for getting back in the. But no, I don't have a problem with either of them. Like Brent Venables wearing gear from his son, which by the way, I coached at this school for a decade. Yeah, dude, I don't care.
I don't know.
It's no different than Will Muschamp
hold on.
wearing Vandy
Let's
stuff.
contextualize this. For some reason, Andrew Smart takes a baseball scholarship at Alabama. Okay, or something. Ends up at Alabama. And Kirby Smart is seen at an Alabama football game.
This was the picture I had in my mind, by the way.
Rocking a crimson tie.
I don't like it.
But Alabama.
Oh, you'd puke.
I don't like it.
Alabama and Georgia do not like each other. They have history. Oklahoma and Clemson are kind of just like.
This is fair.
This would be.
I still don't like it.
This would be if Andrew Smart went to play baseball at Florida State and Kirby Smart was rocking some Knowles gear. It'd be like that's weird, but whatever.
Yeah, you're not helping. Still don't like it.
I would like it a lot more than if it was Bama or Florida or something like that.
I don't know. I don't know. Just don't love it.
But no, I didn't have a problem with it, and
You kind of tapered off there.
there's no problem with it.
Yeah, I don't either. Do we have any more side questions? Somebody could go for a rack this year.
We could talk about that.
Rackariah?
Rackariah branch?
I do.
I
Think
like Yackariah.
Yeah,
I
but
hope that
if he goes
sticks.
for a 1,000, you got to be you're
Rackariah.
upgraded to Rackariah.
Yackariah to Rackariah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So at the beginning of every college football season, there is one burning question on Georgia fans' mind. Will this be the year that we have a 1,000-yard receiver?
Since 2002, baby.
And for 23 years, the answer has been an emphatic no. And we are 9 games through the regular season of this year, and there might be a chance for that streak to end. Zachariah Branch currently leads the Georgia Bulldogs in receiving this year with 542 yards. Now,
Oh, man.
500 yards through 9 games is not going to be enough to put you anywhere near the millennium mark. However, this season for Zachariah Branch has been a tale of two halves, and I don't think that we've kind of caught on to that. In his first 5 games with Georgia, Branch averaged just 3.6 catches per game with a total of 46 yards per game. The first 5 games, Zachariah Branch was very effective, made big plays, statistically wasn't lighting it up. But he's become a much more heavily featured part of this Georgia offense toward the last back half of the season. In Georgia's last 4 games, Zachariah Branch has averaged 8.75 receptions. That's averaging 5 more receptions than he was first 5 games of the year. And he's turning in about 77 yards per game. So, should he maintain this average for the next foreseeable future, it would take roughly 6 games for Zachariah Branch to break the 1,000-yard mark. Obviously, with the college football playoff and 3 regular season games remaining, there is a chance that Georgia will play 6 more games. So, if Zachariah Branch maintains his statistical output, turns in another fantastic season, or closes out the season in fantastic fashion, and Georgia makes a deep run in the college football playoff doing so, he will become the first 1,000-yard receiver since Terrence Edwards did so in 2002. I would love to know who you're calling right now.
Could be very anticlimactic. I have no idea what this gentleman is doing right about now.
So basically, a whole lot has to go right for this to happen.
Yes.
So still a very outside chance of a Georgia receiver hitting 1,000 yards.
Agreed.
But, I mean, all things considered, like, the fact that you're even in this position, like, I don't think, none of us even, I don't even remember us writing the article this offseason because I think we kind of assumed that
No, we did.
with the Gunnar Stockton offense.
We did.
with the Gunnar Stockton-led offense, you didn't really think that this was going to be a possibility considering what you expected the offense to be. And that kind of has played out this year. However, you didn't expect Zachariah Branch to be what
I'm calling compiler. It doesn't count. You got to do it in the same amount of games as Terrence. It doesn't count. I'm calling compiler.
Got to do it in 30.
That's what I'm doing.
Were you going to ask the man?
I was going to ask the man himself. Does it count? Or are you still Mr. Rack?
I'm sure Terrence would probably say no, and I agree with Terrence.
Terrence would say yes, it counts. Terrence is a very humble person.
I know
Terrence
he is.
wanted that thing to break forever. But I'm a Terrence stan. Doesn't count. We can't be compiling because you get to play 17 and Terrence had to play 12.
The 1,000 yards certainly wouldn't hit the same as the way it did for Terrence.
If Zachariah Branch were to break 1,000 yards in 13 games, it would take.
I'd give it to him.
It would take 114 yards a game.
If he does that, if he closes with five straight 112-yard games?
It'd be 4 straight.
4 straight 112-yard games, he gets it. That's all the way up to the SEC championship game, which if Terrence's teams would have won that many games, they would have had the same amount.
They played in the SEC championship game in 2002.
So he played 13 games for Iraq? All right. There we go. Doesn't count. Compiler.
It's a hateful take. Brother, it's been 23 years. It's going to count. As long as you get the 1,000 by that name, it's going to count. Stetson Bennett, the only 4,000-yard passer in Georgia history, played 15 games that season, and no one calls compiler on that.
To this guy, Iraq is Iraq. Context doesn't matter. I like it. Stats are stats, baby.
Stats are stats. Now, obviously, context in the GOAT conversation or, all of this, that obviously matters because that immediately again turns into if Zachariah Branch does go for 1,000, people are saying, is he the greatest Georgia wide receiver ever? Well, maybe, but one of the greatest seasons at least.
Time to take care of some business, I believe.
What's that?
We got a big game to talk about.
That we do, boys. It is time. Lock in. It is predictions time. The Texas Longhorns, for the third time in a matter of 2 years, are playing the Georgia Bulldogs. They come to Athens this weekend at 7:30 to tee it up between the hedges to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. Here we go, boys. Keys to the matchup for Georgia. It's making sure that Colin Simmons and Arch Manning aren't so individually great that they beat you. I thought Arch was the sole reason that Texas beat Mississippi State, and I thought Colin Simmons was one of the primary reasons that they jumped out to such a great lead against Vanderbilt. You cannot allow those two individually great football players to take over this football game like Texas's opponents have had the last 2 weeks. That's my major key for Georgia. For Texas, protect the merchandise, baby. Protect the merchandise and build in hots into this system. I think there is way too much of a deep passing game attempt constantly from Texas. They have yet to match their average depth of target to pair up for an offensive lineman offensive line that has failed to consistently protect against really, really good units. They've got to condense the route concepts in this one, right? If Georgia starts heating things up for you, you've got to start having hots available for you guys. If Georgia's getting pressure, it's because they added 5 to the box. It's not because they're getting home with 4. It's damn sure not because they're getting home with 3. That means if they're rushing 5 guys and covering everybody in the back end, where are they vulnerable? The middle of the field, the flats, the check down areas. You got to build in hots for this offense. Georgia will let you walk the football if you are patient in this football game.
Yeah, my 2 big things in this game, don't let Texas kill you in the short game. Georgia does a really good job of minimizing what opponents are able to do, the yardage they're able to pick up in the short game, like quick screens, like outside in the flat routes, those types of things. Texas has kind of not relied on this, but this has been a way that they've created some of their explosives and remained efficient and ahead of the sticks in some of these situations. Georgia has to limit those opportunities. Like if they're going to gift you an opportunity to give them a 2-yard gain in the receiving game, you got to make sure you get those guys on the ground. Don't let them pick up confidence and be able to rely on that more times than you would like them to. And then the other one, stay consistent with the run game if you're Georgia, because if there's anything that we have learned, you've been able to, you may not be picking up 8 yards, 7 yards at a time consistently with this run game, but they are bound to spit one out. They are bound to get a 40-yard chunker. I thought Chauncey Bowens in the Alabama game was a prime example of this. I didn't think that Georgia just absolutely crushed Bama necessarily in the run game, but Chauncey had a massive gasher in that game that put Georgia in a big position. I think this is a game really where you just got to continue to stick with it, rely on your offensive line and your running backs, and eventually you're going to break one off.
Body blows, Jonathan. Body blows. Come on, man. Lock in. What do you got for me?
What in the world?
I mean, I spent a whole 12 minutes on Feinbaum talking about body blows. I was just trying to pantomime to my boy to add it in. It's all about body blows. And then the knockout punch.
The history in this season so far, the way it's played out, would state that if you force Arch Manning to win the football game, you have a fairly decent shot. And I think that's what's going to be Georgia's X factor here. Put this game at his feet and say, hey, all right, go out and beat us. Now, he went out and did that against Mississippi State. I'm one to believe that Mississippi State's defense is probably not as good as Georgia's. I think that's the key. I think that's the key to success here if you're the Georgia Bulldogs, to where we're not going to let the wide receivers beat us. We're not going to let the running game beat us. We are going to force Arch Manning to be like the Arch Manning that everyone thought he was going to be coming into the season. So that's the key to my matchup.
Scary thing is, Kirby, the last 6 quarters, he's been exactly that. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want it to be, can this kid throw for 325 today? Because he might. That's scary. X factor for me, and I think you already mentioned this, Jonathan, who can tackle the ball in the flats? Both these teams are great screen teams. Both these teams rely on the screen game, especially Georgia. And the last 2 games, most of the explosives have come from Ryan Wingo to start the ball game. They flip field with a lot of screen passes the last couple of weeks. You got to tackle the ball when it's thrown at, near, or behind the line of scrimmage for both these football teams.
Plain and simple, Colin Simmons is the X factor. I think that this is one of the biggest avenues for Texas to win this game, is if he is just the game record that he has been for the entire season for them. If he has one of those performances against this Georgia offensive line and is constantly making Gunnar Stockton move around all over the place in the pocket, throwing him off of his spot, it's going to be hard for Georgia's offense to be very efficient. He's the X factor.
I am going yours on the other side of this. I have Ernest Green and Juan Gaston as my X factors because I think this right tackle position could get interesting, not because of one's better than the other, but because Juan Gaston and Ernest Green are different types of tackles. And I think that if you rotate them around, which we saw Vanderbilt kind of do something like this, I don't think you have to rotate them consistently like they did every play. But I'm going to pay attention to what Georgia does on their offensive line, just seeing how they feel like they can block these guys on the edge, because we talked about it. Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons in a 5-man front is terrifying.
Also, sneaky X factor that I would never mention unless it was a game like this. We expect this to be a tight margin football game. Whichever one of you punters is goofy enough to kick to one of these punt returners, you're an idiot. Don't kick to Ryan Niblett, and don't you dare kick to Zachariah Branch.
We don't have time for it, so I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. We had 5 players that you need the ball in this game.
Yeah.
I put Brett Thorson in that game.
Kick away from that guy.
I
don't care if you shank one.
I'm so proud of how far you've come.
Shut up.
I'm so proud.
Offensive goal. Georgia's offensive goal has to be to slow down Colin Simmons. It just has to be. So there's that. Defensive goal, pressure the quarterback, but keep him inside the pocket. I think this is a major key this weekend. The times that I would hold my breath on Saturday if I were a Georgia fan is when I'm seeing Arch Manning roll right outside of a pocket. That scares the lights out of me, with nobody pursuing him either. If he's got time to get flat, work flat for a long, extended period of time, his eyes will be downfield, and he will hook up with an explosive down there. You can't let that happen. Get pressure on him, but don't flush him. Don't flush him from the pocket. Keep him inside.
Yeah, I had 3 goals for the offense, and they're all statistical based. No turnovers. That's an obvious one coming into this game. But specifically in this moment, in this matchup with a team that you don't need to give them any free possessions, no drives of less than 5 plays unless it's a scoring drive. I think that if you're able to sustain drives and really wear on this Texas defense, you're going to start getting more gashes. They are a very, very good running defense. We've already established that. If you have them on the field longer, it doesn't matter if the best rushing defense in the country. The longer they're on the field, the more likely you are to break off one. And then the third one is every red zone drive ends in a touchdown. I don't think this is a game where you can afford to have 3 red zone trips and walk away with 13 points. You've got to get touchdowns out of this.
My offensive goal is nice and simple. Rush for at least 130 yards. If you can get that much out of your run game in this matchup against one of the best run defenses in the country, might sound lofty, but that's the whole point of a goal. If you hit that mark, if you're Georgia, I think that you are going to be in a great position to win this game.
Did you already give defensive goals as well?
No.
Go ahead. I'll dump mine.
Keep Arch Manning under 200 passing yards. Again, that might sound a little lofty, but let me give you a stat. Georgia has allowed just 4 teams to throw for over 200 yards against them this year. 3 of them were Tennessee, Alabama, and Ole Miss, 3 top 15 passing offenses in the country. The 4th one was Kentucky, where 79 passing yards came in the 4th quarter when Georgia was playing their second-string defense. So really there's been 3 opponents to hit that benchmark against this Georgia secondary, and they're one of the 3 best in the country at doing just that. Texas is, I think, 51st in the country when it comes to passing offense. So if you can do that, I think this is an obtainable goal if you play a really solid performance in your secondary this weekend, where if you keep Arch Manning under 200 yards passing, you'll be all right, I think.
I've got 3 goals on defense as well. First one, hold them to 40% or worse on third down. I know it still feels pretty high, and it's might be, but if Georgia gets off the field 60% of the time on third down, I think that they're going to win this football game, unless Texas is just having explosive drives. We saw last week against Mississippi State. Mississippi State was 50% on third down, and it felt like Georgia was getting off the field consistently. I think if you have this, and if Texas cannot sustain drives throughout that was the death march for Alabama. Consistently being able to continue drives on third down was what ultimately won them that game.
I think they had 11 offensive possessions against Kentucky, and 5 of them were 3-and-outs. Was Texas's offensive performance in that football game. So they'll do this.
They can.
You know, they certainly can. But, again, that was 2 games ago. So, total different football team. Y'all ready for a lesson doesn't happen?
I have 2 more defensive goals.
Okay, my bad.
At least 5 quarterback pressures. I'm not demanding sacks in this game. I know what Arch Manning is. Get him off the spot. Get him on the move. And then third one, only 1 scoring drive of 10 plays or more. Because we've gotten to the point where now it's going to happen. It's happened basically every single game Georgia's played in, including Kentucky, I think. So just have 1.
Y'all
no
know
more
those,
than that.
Y'all know those articles we see every year around championship time where it's like anonymous coaches give opinions about upcoming massive matchup. Well, I've been getting a lot of phone calls from football coaches around the league. This, unless it doesn't happen, is sponsored by other coaches. The coaching world thinks Georgia rolls by 2 scores. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Really?
Multiple phone calls today. Just something
ones?
about matchup. Just everybody having a different reason why, but a lot of it's a favorable matchup for Georgia is the overall theme of the coaching world intel. Georgia rolls.
Interesting. I don't know if that makes me feel good or bad.
Well, I'm going to roll with a point that you made earlier.
Well, it's anonymous, so you know.
I think Georgia's defensive performance is the new trend. Specifically, I think they're going to be really successful on third down. I made this prediction ahead of the Florida game. Florida was very unsuccessful on third down. I'm going to say Texas converts less than 25% of their opportunities on third down on Saturday. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Mine is a singular player. It's a name that we heard a lot about heading into the season. Haven't heard much from. You don't expect them to, but they've been slowly getting runs, slowly getting some pass rush opportunities. Give me Zayden Walker getting his first career sack on Saturday. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Let's juice that up. Give me 2.
Whoa.
Yeah. Come on, say it. Say it right now. Clip it. Say it.
Nah, I'm
say
going.
it. Say it. Say it.
I'm gonna say what I believe. I'm not falling into peer pressure.
I'm gonna say I believe that you're a pansy.
You can do that if you want. You give the take.
Nah, I'm good.
You give the take.
I'm good, man. One's good enough. One's enough. Big pivotal sack too. Can I get a strip sack?
Now who's the pansy?
Oh, you're right, me. Big pansy over here. What do you got for me on? Let's hold score prediction. Give me 5 players that need to play well in this football game. 5-1. 1 to 5?
I burnt 1.
I didn't rank them.
1 to 5, 5-1?
I didn't rank them.
I did. You want it 1 to 5, 5-1?
5-1.
All right, I'll give it to you 1 to 5. Whoever's blocking Colin Simmons, it's a major big-time football game for you at that moment. C.J. Allen, as a spy, we've been talking a lot about Arch Manning getting outside of the pocket. Can number 3 show immense closing speed, a la Jalen Walker? You remember that clip last year? Arch Manning gets outside of the pocket, 11, closes it immediately. Can 3 do that again this
Hot
week?
take, that won him the Butkus Award.
That one clip?
That game.
That
That
was
game won him the award.
insane.
That was the Jalen Walker game.
Number 3, K.J. Bolden has to make big-time plays in the middle of the field. Whether it's eliminating one half of the field or closing the middle of the field whenever you're asked to do so, KJ's got to have a big game. You know who else has to have a big game? It's a massive deep over football team. Jonel Aguero's got to play big.
He's on my list.
Jonel Aguero played big in this football game last year, avoided a targeting penalty, but that was because of what I'm talking about. He was
got a
smacking
targeting
the shit
penalty.
out of those deep overs. He did get a targeting
did.
penalty.
It was a
It
fourth
was
quarter.
on
Yeah,
those
he did.
types of plays, right? where we're absolutely lighting up slot receivers running over the middle of the field. It's got to be that again this year. And number 5, how you going to stop wide zone? How you going to stop off-tackle runs? Great defensive end play, great edge play. Quintavious Johnson needs a big one.
Amen. I had him on my list. I'll start off with him. Quintavious Johnson needs another big game. You know that he's always going to play well. I mean, he's been one of the more consistent players on this Georgia defense. And last week, he had a massive performance against Mississippi State. Moving forward, the interior offensive line, showing what you did on the film study today with Texas's defensive front, it seemed like Vanderbilt was trying to win inside with run game, trying to get after that Texas nose tackle. I think that Georgia has good interior offensive line. If that's the route Georgia wants to go with this run game, they got to have a big performance, and I think that they could possibly do it. Number 3, Chris Cole. This was kind of his coming out party this time last year. Now, largely due to the fact that he was being asked to cover because they had Gunnar Helm, and they needed somebody like one of these avatars to go out there and just run with him. He did a great job of that. But with how much Texas is going to try and throw over the middle of the field and do a lot of different things, and maybe he can get after the passer as well, I think that his length and size could kind of disrupt some of these passing windows for Arch Manning over the middle of the field. You named another one, KJ Bolton. He had a biggest performance of the season against Mississippi State. If he can tack on another one against Texas, that would be massive for Georgia. You know, this Georgia's secondary made a lot of plays against Texas a year ago. Dalen Everett was a massive player in both games against Texas. He had interceptions in both games. So KJ Bolton, if he could be one of those playmakers for them this weekend, that'd be huge. And then number 1, because of Texas's secondary, their inability or their struggle attempts to tackle at times, it's Zachariah Branch. If that guy can continue to do what he has done after the catch, Georgia's going to be okay in the passing game.
Zachariah.
All right, so I already cooked Brett Thorson. Jonell Aguero was also on my list. I think he's very important. If Raylan Wilson can also turn in, because we're assuming at this point, C.J. Allen has turned in nothing but fantastic performance. If Raylan Wilson can do that and you have 2 inside linebackers playing with their heads on fire, that's going to be very boding well for you. Give me one of the running backs having a big game. It doesn't matter if it's a Chauncey Bowens game, if it's a Nate Frazier game. Hell, it could be a Dwight Phillips Jr. game for all I care. We just need one of them to play the lights out. Number 4 for me, Ernest Green. He was my X factor or one of them. Blocking Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill on the edge is going to be very important. I think we can assume that Monroe Freeling has turned in good enough tape. Ernest Green has had some injury issues this year. I think that he is going to be a guy who needs to have a big game. And then my 5th one, and I just added him to the list because it just dawned on me, Peyton Woodring. No kicks out of bounds, please.
Oh.
I think that this has been one of the more overlooked aspects of Georgia's defense this year. They've given their opponents the ball at the 35 4 to 5 times this season. Just kick touchbacks. That's all you got to do. You're a fantastic place kicker. Automatic. I don't feel like there's another guy in the SEC right now that you trust more in a kick 45 yards plus. Can we get more touchbacks?
Hot take, if you can't kick it out of the back of the end zone this week, go ahead and kick it out of bounds. Don't
I was
kick it
gonna
and
say,
nibble it.
maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing.
If we're landing it at the 3, just kick the bitch out of bounds.
We need
Just
touchbacks.
go ahead, shank that thing. I know he fights for every inch out there. It's 10 yards. It's not the end-all, be-all. The defense, you cannot use we kicked the ball out of bounds as for why the defense gave up a score. That's not – I don't believe that to be the case. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Prediction time?
You ready? Dogs on top, 27-24. I was thinking 24-21 range, but I'm thinking a little bit more offense than I originally thought going into it on a Monday. Dogs on top.
I went a little steeper. I'll explain why.
Ooh.
I went Georgia 31, Texas 20. I just kind of thought, like, looking back on the season, I know that Georgia has played with fire quite a few times, but they have one loss on the year. It was at home against Alabama. This weekend it's at home in Sanford Stadium, a night game, much like the Alabama game. And we saw what it took for an Alabama team to walk out of there and beat Georgia. It took Ty Simpson being absolutely perfect dang near, but perfect on third down more specifically. One of the most efficient passing performances that I have ever seen. I mean, there was very little you could do against that offense in the first half. All of that said, with how great Alabama's offense was, with how great Ty Simpson was, they won by 3. That's what it took, though, to beat Georgia at home in a night game. I don't know if Arch Manning can do that. I don't know if Arch Manning can be that efficient, that consistent, and be that dang near perfect against this Georgia defense this late in the season in a night game, last conference game for Georgia. That's why I took Georgia by 11 points in this one.
I think that is a very, very sound argument, and I kind of agree with you on all those things. I do think that Texas defense is going to be a little bit more havoc-wreaking and provide more opportunities for points. I have Georgia winning this game 31-23.
You ever seen that those jerseys that are like half split?
Yeah.
One team on one side, one team on the other. I'm going to give you that version in a Texas meme. You ready?
Very cool. Very good.
You like that?
That's nice.
We good?
I think we're good.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow. Love ya. Bye.